Martin. First one in the building. What's up, my friend? Hey, B-Al. I guess I should have checked to see if my iPad was working, huh?
Oh, yeah, you better hook that thing up.
Hey, RaiderNation, this is Max Crosby from Oakland.
Nice.
Works.
You're a pro, Jeff.
Well, yeah. Hey, Raider Lorian, Jordan Ford, Hooligan Nation, Robert Pena. Raider Nerd.
What's up, Kev?
Paul. Michelle. We miss you, Michelle.
Hey,
Oh,
Michelle.
we miss you so much. Hey, Ron. Ron. Hello, Ron. Hey, Matthew Mangus.
What's up, Matthew? What are we, 363?
363, man. All day long.
Word.
Hey, baby. What up, girl? Hey, Jay Jackson.
I was hoping that was Chris.
No, it was Jay Jackson. No, it's my wife.
All right, here we go. It's episode number 363 of Raiders Fan Radio coming at you.
Hey, it's Mike Garofalo, NFL Network here in the home office, and you are listening to the Raiders Fan Radio podcast, taking that lighter journey into the dark side with Murf, Swag Jeff, and Michelle. She's got great hair. It's a little pink, it's a little purple, whatever it is. I'll tell you what, if I could grow it, I would sign up for that color today. So listen to her and the entire crew as they give you all the information on the Raiders on the podcast that benefits the One Nation Foundation. It's a great cause. It's a great pod. Tune in, turn it up. Here it comes. All that Raiders info and takes coming at you right now.
Jackpot, baby. Raiders Fan Radio.
Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murf's Man Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Political, a leaking pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Piano at the 50, time running down. Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
You are listening live to Raiders Fan Radio, guys.
Why, thank you, Brett Musburger. What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for what we trust will be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 363 of Raiders Fan Radio, coming to you live from the cabin in the woods here, Swag Jack.
Absolutely, in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere, we are trucking in internet, but thanks to Skylink and Elon, we're able to get to you live here tonight. So we appreciate all of those of you joining us live in the chat room tonight. Appreciate everybody that's there at youtube.com/Raiders Fan Radio joining us for the live show, man. We have the best chat room, not only in all this like Raider talk, but it's all sports, bro. They're the best.
Come on.
They're the best. They know more about football than we do. They're funnier than we are. If you're not in the live chat, man, on 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday night, I'll just say you're missing out. There's so much, like, I can't see it with the current setup that we have now. I can't see it. I love going back and reading the chat. It's so damn funny.
Yeah.
Some of the lines and stuff that get dropped in there by like Ron the Mailbag, and like, you guys know who you are, man. And all of them are funny, but like, it's just great. It's a great place to go in there and not take yourself too seriously, which we're going to talk about that, by the way, tonight. We're going to talk about taking yourself a little too seriously on Twitter when it comes to this Raiders shit.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about that a little bit. But anyway,
Wow.
yeah.
You got more grievances.
I got another grievance.
You got another grievance.
I got problems with you people. But thank you to all of those of you in the chat room. We love you guys so very much. I'll leave it to Swag Jeff to shout you out. I know we've already got some amazing super chats.
Yeah, we do.
They're already coming in to support our nonprofit, which is the One Nation Foundation. If you're able to donate to the show monetarily, we are highly appreciative of that as we give all of the money away. 100% of it goes to Raiders-related charities, like the good folks at the Blitnikoff Foundation, like the good folks at Raider Dad, folks that are just out there literally doing the Lord's work under the banner of the Raiders and in the spirit of Raider Nation. And so we couldn't be more honored to support them, but we can't support them without your generosity. That 100% comes from you and the listening audience here at Raiders Fan Radio. And even if you can't support us monetarily, Jeff, all we ask is for your support through a like, a subscribe, a thumbs up, any of that stuff. We just got our underdog payment. We had underdog fantasy all last month. We just got that came in today, and that was a nice little hit, man. Like all that money that we get from those advertisers, that doesn't happen without your support. So if you're not subscribed, if you haven't liked the show yet, please do that. You can also become a member of $5 a month, and you get your name in green, and you get some cool emojis, and it's, and just know that it's not just about the emojis and the highlights of the chat and all that stuff. It's that you're giving that money to the foundation. That's $5 a month going to the foundation. And there's like 40 some odd members that we have now.
Heck yeah.
So thank you to all of those of you that are members of the channel. And so anybody that's considering that, we love you for that as well. Or just tell your Raider friends about us. Just tell them about Raiders Fan Radio. Tell them about the One Nation Foundation and where they can find the show on Wednesdays or the audio podcast. You can find the audio podcast on any audio podcast service just by searching for Raiders Fan Radio. All right, so let's enough of housekeeping. It's time to turn it over to the man.
Housekeeping.
I'm not going to follow that up, but I really, really want to. Okay. My best friend and yours.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. He is Swag Jeff.
And we're the three.
Oops, dang it. Where's the... There it is.
Hey.
It's Silent and Profile.
What up, Swaggo?
What's up, man? Oh my gosh, I'm excited to be here, and there's already people that have jumped in, like you said, for the One Nation Foundation. So much respect to Yoshi in the building. This is Spytek in the house with a $50 donation to the One Nation Foundation.
Thank you, Yoshi.
Yep, 100%. And then followed up quickly by Matthew Menges, who said, I'll take Spytek because the GM will make or break us in the long run with a $50 donation to the One Nation Foundation. Yep, much respect.
Tell them to highlight that, because both those guys, thank you so very, very much for your generosity.
Yeah.
Like we always say around here, we could do an entire show just by telling you how thankful you are, especially when we see a couple of numbers come through like that.
Heck yeah.
Cannot thank Yoshi and Matthew Menges enough for that. And Swag Jeff, tell them a little bit more about the foundation, where that money's going to go.
Absolutely, man. Well, Murf kind of highlighted a little bit right there, but Raider Dad. So Raider Dad takes underprivileged kids and their parental figures to Raider games for the first time, and we've been out there, boots on the ground. The preseason event.
This will be our third year in a row.
We're hosting the preseason event that they have out there for one of the home games during the Raiders preseason. And I think last year they sent 55 kids or something like that at that preseason
whatever it was,
game.
yeah.
And it was just an unbelievable experience.
Tell them about the tailgate. Dig in on that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not interrupting you, but just because we don't talk about that enough, I don't think.
Yeah,
but
for
what
sure.
that money is actually doing that day. You know?
Absolutely. So thanks to those of you that donate to the foundation, and we give that money to Raider Dad. They've also partnered up with what is it? What's the like
Jay's Gourmet.
Jay's Gourmet, Raising Cane's, Pepsi, all these stuff, and
Dad.
it gives them a full happy dad.
Not for the kids.
Not for the kids. No, it makes the dads happy that are out there, but it gives the kids just this full tailgate experience. There's cornhole throwing. There's kids running around chucking footballs and stuff like that. They get T-shirts. They get jerseys. They get all sorts of amazing stuff. They get shoes. I can't remember the shoe company that sponsors them, but like they give away shoes to these kids. It's just just an unbelievable experience for these kids. And then, of course, the Biletnikoff Foundation, which, is all in honor of Tracy Biletnikoff, who unfortunately passed away in 99 due to domestic violence. And so the Biletnikoff Foundation and the Tracy's Place of Hope and the Biletnikoff Center of Hope provides just kind of an escape and allows women to have a safe place to go, and also provides rehabilitative services and just provides them just the little things that you wouldn't think that these women would need, like, a pillow or toothpaste or stuff like that. But I mean, it just gives these people just a place to go, and it's just an unbelievable, mission that the Biletnikoffs do, and we're so honored to be a part of that. And like you said, we couldn't do that without the great folks like you, like Kevin the Raider Nerd, who just jumped in and donated a $20 donation.
Thank you, Kev.
Yep. And then Matthew Mengus with another 20 as
Thank
well.
you, Matthew.
Yeah, just unbelievable.
And what those guys say?
So Kevin the Raider Nerd says, trivia, I gave the first super chat on Raiders Fan Radio. Glad to do it again.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you, Kevin.
I didn't know
the Raider.
that.
Yeah, there you go.
Kev, but I know Kevin's donated and supported us in numerous different ways. 100%. Especially with our merch.
Oh,
Kevin
the
rocks the hell out of some RFR gear, dude.
Absolutely, he does. And we were just talking off camera right before the show started. We're going to release another shirt.
Got a new shirt coming
We
up.
got a new shirt coming up, and it's going to be fire, as the kids say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Matthew Mengus said, missing on Ben Johnson, son of a gun, that's going to leave a mark. So, and maybe it will, maybe it won't.
We're going to get to that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then Intel, I don't mean to cut you off, but Intel just jumped in, doesn't say anything, but drops a $100 bill to the One Nation Foundation.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Thank you, Intel.
Thank you, Intel. Thank you to all those amazing folks that donate to the One Nation Foundation. Yeah, Jordan Ford says $240 in 13 minutes.
Dude,
is what we just made to the foundation.
Man.
So yeah, so
That's
that warms our heart, man. We can't thank you enough for that. And speaking of the amazing people in the chat room, Paul in there, Martin, Jordan Ford, Chuck Raider, like I said, Intel, my beautiful wife is in there. Michelle is in there.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, Paul in there, Jordan Ford, Anthony Esri is in there, Matthew Mengus, Kevin the Raider Nerd, Mr. Wrong, Jesus of Alamrock is in there. We got the whole crew, man.
We got the crew,
so much
man.
Respect.
Got the Murderers Row going on
Absolutely.
in there, man.
And so Matt Postal Weight just jumped in and said, wait for Cliff as head coach. Is he and Brady have a connection and is an experienced offensive-minded head coach? That's the cohesiveness that we need between these three, with a $5 donation to the One Nation Foundation.
Thank you, brother.
Yep.
Thank
so
you
much respect.
Thank you. Did you say Pete?
Yeah. Matt.
Matt. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very, very much. And that's a good point. We're gonna talk a little bit about that too coming up. Graf's been on that big time today about the connection between Tom Brady and Cliff Kingsbury. We'll kind of touch on that, but there's a lot of connections to go over today. We've got all the, like, we're gonna, what's that one meme of the guy of, was it like Charlie Day or whoever it is, with all the yarn and the connecting all the dots and all the like, that's gonna be us tonight, man. We're gonna try to see if we can't read the tea leaves now that we've got one John Spytek get ready to be in the house. They're in Henderson, so we'll get to that here in just a second. We're going to talk about the Raiders. I promise that's coming. But before we get to that, Swag Jeff,
sure.
You always take our episode number and tie it back to something significant within Raider Nation. Tonight is 363, and what have you got tonight?
Absolutely. Well, to start it off, I have an email. I have an email from our good friend T-Hum.
Oh, hey, T-Hum.
Yeah, so dear RFR family, I have been an indirect...
Dear T-Hum.
Yeah, there you go. I have been an indirect part of the show going back to 2021. I have contributed voices and characters and have submitted emails. But I have also now I've settled into my role as in assisting for episode numbers. Out of all the episode numbers I put together, I think this one, 363, may be my all-time favorite, and you'll see why.
He's calling his shot.
He's calling his shot. So first, let's talk about one of the 4 members of my Raiders Mount Rushmore. Number 63, Gene Upshaw.
Of course.
Uppy was a member of the Raiders from 67 to 81, and he's a 3-time first-team All-Pro and is the only player in NFL history to be a part of the same team to go to the Super Bowl in 3 different decades. 363.
Oh,
hey,
nicely done.
Yeah. He said, but wait, there's more. How about another member of my Raiders Mount Rushmore? None other than Al Davis. In 1963, Al became the 4th coach of the Raiders, but in the 63 season became the 3rd coach in the team's history to start a regular season. 3 63.
Nicely done.
Absolutely. He said, but wait there's more.
Let's see how this is unfolding. Okay, go ahead.
The stars were truly
Hold your applause.
in alignment for this one. Raiders Fan Cave usually rolls out on Raiders Fan Radio normally rolls out on Wednesday nights, which this week would be January 22nd. But to our friends over in Europe, it's already January 23rd. Which why is this significant, you ask? Because 3 days ago, using Europe time would have been January 20th. And that day just happens to be my birthday, my 63rd.
Oh.
63.
Girl, happy birthday, T-Hom. Happy birthday. Was that the last one?
That was the last one. Love y'all, your faithful servant, T-Hom.
Oh, boy, T-Hom.
There you go, T-Hom.
Hey, so before we get to the contact info, let's talk a little Raiders history real quick.
Okay.
You said something to me before the show started, but it didn't resonate with me until he just dropped that date, January 22nd.
Ooh, that's one of our favorite days.
Black Sunday, baby. January 22nd, 1984.
41 years ago.
41 years ago. Marcus Allen's running with the night. As the sun set on the game, so did it set on the Washington defense. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, you listen back to some of those old John Facenda lines. My all-time favorite one is the one where he goes, "For nothing that blocked or tackled, nor passed or ran, could stop the Raiders on Black Sunday."
That's
like,
awesome.
Just like, that gives me freaking chills,
Heck
man.
yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? It's like, this was a defeat of which no honor could be salvaged. Like,
yeah,
it's like questioning their manhood. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, we got to. I'll tell you what. When we do our Super Bowl protest show this year, because we're going to do one,
of course.
I mean, especially if that one team's in there, but even we may not call it a Super Bowl protest show.
Yeah,
if it's the Bills, right? Because we would have nothing to protest against. We're all, hey, Bills Mafia all the way this weekend.
Heck yeah.
One of us is going to go through a table. I've been threatening that. It's going to happen.
Okay.
You live a mile away from me now. You're coming over here, and I'm throwing your ass through a table, or you, me, or one of us just jumping forward or something.
Or both of us, Vinny.
Oh, let's do like a Dudley Boys.
There
Since
you
it's
go.
the tables. Let's do a Dudley Boys on Vinny.
Get the tables!
Hell yeah, that's a great idea.
I love it.
All right, yeah. Vinny doesn't really listen to the show, but when he gets here on Sunday, I'm going to let him know.
Absolutely.
Hey, son, you're going through a table.
Well,
but anyways, but for the for our annual Super Bowl show that we do, for those of you that are new to the show, we always do like a morning show the day of the Super Bowl. We drink coffee and talk about, like, we'll watch like an old NFL films thing of something about the Raiders. And so this year, let's do Black Sunday, since this is the 41st anniversary and today's that day. Producing on the fly here. That's what we're going to do. All right, so join us for that. All right, let's do contact info. Unless you want to shout out the chat room one last time.
Before we do that, because Jordan Ford jumped in there and said now $255 in 15 minutes with a $10 donation to One Nation Foundation. Yep. And then Yoshi said, well, let's just even things out. With a $45 donation to the One Nation Foundation. So we are now sitting at $300 in 18 minutes. Thank you, Jordan Ford and Yoshi.
Guys, man.
Holy cow.
God bless you guys. That's incredibly, incredibly kind, man. Again, we can sit around and tell you guys thank you all night long. And I don't know if we do a good enough job of highlighting the super chats as they come in, but we do our best with it and just know that your generosity is never lost on us. Ever, ever, ever.
Yeah.
It's the kindest thing, and we're honored that you would share your hard-earned money with us so we could give it away to charity. So thank you very, very much, guys.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead. Hit a break. Swag Jeff, hit that contact info, and then let's talk about the Raiders.
Let's do that.
Woo! Hey, Raider Nation. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an updated contact info. So sit up, zip up, shut up, and pay attention. You can call us at 909-345-3346, or as Murf would say,
909-345-3346.
How about emailing me? You want to email me? Email me at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Or what about reaching out to us on some of that social media stuff Swaggy likes?
Do it.
Try Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. The Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio. Insta something. Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio.
The ticky-ticky-tocky-tock. Welcome back, TikTok.
At Raiders Fan Radio.
We missed
Or
you for
what
that
about
12 hours.
Some of you out there twitching. Anyway, Twitch at Raiders Fan Radio. Or if you don't like that, go to the YouTube. America, go to the YouTube. YouTube.com/Raiders Fan Radio. Oh my God, if that wasn't enough, go to your podcast provider and search Raiders Fan Radio. Holy crap, that was a lot.
Good. All right, easy enough for the two
yeah.
of us there. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the news of the day, Swag Jeff.
Okay, deal.
We are following breaking news from the NFL where the Las Vegas Raiders are hiring John Spytek as their new general manager. That's the latest from our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. Spytek was most recently with the Tampa Bay Bucks, working with GM Jason Light. He also is a former college teammate at Michigan with who else than Tom Brady, who, of course, is now a part of the ownership team. Spytek replaces Tom Telesco, who was let go after one season. And important, the Raiders are still looking for their head coach after firing Antonio Pierce earlier this year. For more on this, we go to our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones, with more.
Yeah, and so you have the Las Vegas Raiders who have hired John Spytek. This is a big hire, an expected hire for the Las Vegas Raiders. We know that Tom Brady has certainly been at the controls. Mark Davis has given him that sort of power and responsibility. And look, I know that he did play at Michigan with Tom Brady, that is John Spytek. I know that he helped recruit Tom Brady and sign him to Tampa, and they won a Super Bowl together with the Buccaneers. But I also want to say that John Spytek is incredibly qualified and that he is a top candidate for general manager this past year. He even interviewed and made it to the second round with the Tennessee Titans. So this is not a buddy helping out a buddy and talking with folks around the league. A well-respected personnel man John Spytek is, and now he lands in Las Vegas with the number 6 overall pick in a very difficult division, needing a quarterback, needing a lot of help across that roster, hoping to revive this Las Vegas Raiders franchise.
All right, well, he's certainly going to need a lot of help, man. There's a lot that is to be desired still around this Raiders team. That's not breaking news to anybody. But the breaking news of Spytek coming over, and I think to me is that and I don't want to downplay the background of John Spytek, and I don't want to downplay the significance that I think that the amount of, let's see, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's a presence that this guy is going to bring. This guy is not a football nerd like Telesco is. This guy is a grinder. This guy is all about tape. He's all about watching guys compete. He's all about getting the trenches of the NFL. And I don't mean by position, but I just mean the boots on the ground.
Yeah, and he's a scouting champion.
Yes, that's what this guy, so I don't want to diminish the significance of that level of a role. But I also, too, think, Jeff, that it's important for us to realize that the big takeaway in terms of operations is what a significant hire this is based on Tom Brady's influence. That we didn't, as of 2 weeks ago, we were still kind of in the dark of what Tom Brady was going to be. Was he going to be, and you're going to hear, I got a clip from McAfee coming up, and he talks about it, and he's like, we didn't know if this was going to be Tom as just like an investor and just like a quiet thing from a distance while he's doing this Fox thing or whatever. This is 100% connected back to Tom Brady. This was not a Mark Davis thing. I'm sure Mark had to give his stamp of approval and all that kind of stuff, but this was a Tom Brady-led effort, and I think that this may have played into the reason that Ben Johnson didn't ultimately come over, was because I think that you never know what, because he goes to the Bears, who has Ryan Poles firmly entrenched there, so he doesn't have any influence over GM there. But I don't know. I just feel like maybe there was something that, man, maybe even Spytek was like, no, that's not the guy. I don't want that guy. I want someone else or whatever. Sure. I feel like somehow those things are loosely connected. We won't find out for years, if ever. But I feel like one thing definitely influenced the other. And I think that it's the correct order of things and the proper order of things when it comes to hiring for a football team, when it comes to the front
comes
office.
first.
Get the damn GM right. Get that done and get that right, and then build off from there and hire your head coach. And we're going to get into head coach stuff later. We're going to get into the weeds on that. And again, we're going to start connecting some of these dots. But in terms of like Spytek's background, where he started, where he came up, came out of Michigan. I'll leave it to Jeff to kind of give you a little bit of a rundown of the guy's background. But I think that the idea that I love that it feels like the first time, other than maybe Mayock, we got a guy that's just all about ball.
Yeah.
He's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
He's just all about ball and the competition of said sport, man. I love this hire. He's a great guy to listen to. When you listen to him in an interview.
Like, you got that interview?
I don't think I have that. Do I?
Well, you had that thing. It was a clip from like maybe a couple years ago or something like that where he was talking about.
I was just watching through that on Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was when he was in Tampa and he was kind of talking about, it was talking about the preseason and just watching guys compete. And I'll paraphrase for you. Basically, he was saying like, I'm at practice. I'm watching practice, and I just love watching these guys compete. And I love watching these ways that these guys, you know, finding out the things that they do well and finding out the things that if they don't do a thing well, what is the other thing they do well? And we've also heard him make comments around the way that he evaluates for a draft. Is that like, you got to be elite at something. You know, you may not be the fastest guy, but can you do something else? Like what? Like he's always looking for like, what's the thing that can give you an edge? He doesn't have a type. And that's another thing I love about him as a player evaluator. It's not like he's got like, oh, I'm looking for this X type of player to plug into X type of system. That's not what this guy's about. He's like, what does that guy do well? And does he do any of it elite? And like, that's the thing that drives him is that, okay, yes, there are going to be negatives or detractors, but what, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like it, man. I think it's a great hire. I think it's a very intelligent, responsible hire for the Las Vegas Raiders, and we can't say that's always been the case.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Yeah, this guy, he's been a scouting assistant. He's been the president of scouting. He's done all this stuff. This guy knows talent. He knows where to find talent, and like you said, he looks for those elite qualities in all these players from the top of the draft all the way to the bottom of the draft. He wants someone to be the best at something. And listening to that interview that from a couple years ago from when he was in Tampa, like I listened to it. I was doing something on my phone and kind of listening to Murf listen to that right there. And I was like, wow, that's like a night and day from Telesco. Like Telesco just kind of seemed a little more nerdy and like the numbers and analytics and stuff like that, where this guy, like, he wants to be out on the practice field. You know, he's getting fired up and stuff like that. He's a grinder. He wants to see big pops. He wants to see these, and then go figure, he's a, former teammate of Tom Brady. So he knows ball in that way too. And he was actually, let me run down the list of all the different stuff that he's done. So he started in 2004. So he's got 21 years in the NFL, and he's still a young guy. He's only 44
years old.
So he started when he was in his 20s, 23 years old. He started with the Lions. He was an operational intern. And then in 2005, he was an intern with the Philadelphia Eagles. He stuck around with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2006 as a college scouting assistant, and then he became the college pro scout from 07 to 09 with the Eagles. And then he moved on to Cleveland for a couple years. From 2010 to 2012, it was the director of college scouting. He went to Denver in 2013. He was a Southwest area scout and then national scout from 2014 to 2015, which is where he got his first Super Bowl.
And also was responsible for players like Bradley Roby.
Sure.
And like some really solid draft picks in there for those Broncos.
100%.
It makes me feel gross to say that, but
yeah. But you got to give the guy his flowers.
Yep.
He did some good stuff for sure. And then in 2016 is where he moved on to Tampa Bay, where he was the assistant of scouting and all that stuff, and then was promoted in 2023 to assistant general manager. But during that time, so in 2016, he had some amazing drafts, brought in some amazing folks, and then also was, integral in getting Tom Brady to the Buccaneers, where they won their second Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely there. So I dig the hire. I'm curious to see what you had to say, chat room. I haven't seen anybody complain about this at all. And in fact, I was looking on Twitter just a little bit before the show started, And I saw that like JT the Brick put out a tweet, and he was like, misery level today from Raider Nation is like a 1 out of 10. Like, no one's complaining about this one. Like, everyone's in their feelings when Ben Johnson, signs with the Bears, and it's like, oh my God, the sky's falling, and blah, blah, blah. And then here we go. We get Spytek coming in, and I think it's pretty much unanimous. And what I love about this hire too, and not that it matters to anything else other than us fans, but this is the guy we all wanted. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone
was kind of
like,
unanimous.
It was kind of unanimous that this was the guy that we all wanted. And so, being that he's a younger guy, he can hopefully be around for a long time. You know what I mean? Hopefully this is our freaking Howie, or this is our, our Ozzie Newsome, or whoever. You know what I mean? Like, this is our guy that's going to be around for 10 plus years and build us some damn football teams, man. So I think it's a great hire. I think it's a good look for the Raiders. I think it's a good look for Mark. I think that's a great look for Mark, and that idea that when he says that he's going to turn football over to football people, there you go. Anybody that's been shitting on Mark Davis at any time, and I'm a Mark Davis apologist. I'll speak for myself. I'm a Mark Davis apologist. I think that everything that man has ever done, he has done it with the best of faith and the idea that he's doing best for his football team, not himself. I truly believe that. He's all about that. The reason that the team is in Vegas is because he wanted what was best for the Raiders, not what was best for Mark Davis, or not what was best for, you know what I mean? Ultimately, it was better for him to move to Vegas, but you guys know what I'm saying, is that he wants what's best for the Raiders. And no one wants to win more than Mark Davis. And I think that he also, and you don't get this a lot in people that are highly wealthy and powerful, he is also highly aware of his limitations and is not shy to express that. And I got so much respect for that idea, that he's not a meddling owner. This is not Jerry Jones. And now we can be critical of the hires he's made in the past, and that's fair because those things haven't worked out. But the spirit behind those hirings,
100%.
the intention behind those hirings was dead on. So I don't think that we can fault Mark as much as I think a lot of people would like to, in terms of, I think it could be it's a path of least resistance. It's an easy argument to go, look, Mark Davis, blah, blah, blah. His hair is P.F. Chang's, whatever. It's easy to make fun of the guy. But I think it's hard when you really think about it. Like, okay, well, what has he done well? And in this case, I think he's done well that not only has he turned over football decision-making to football people, that's his words that he was wanted to do, but now we've seen it in action again. So it's like, okay, so if Spytek doesn't work out, if the Raiders win 4 games in the next 4 years, like, is everybody going to crap on Mark Davis again? I would certainly hope not, because I think that his fans will unanimously can recognize this as a very responsible hire. And it probably comes because Mark was willing to relinquish control to Tom Brady and let Tom make the damn move. I don't, you know what I'm saying? So I think this is highly reflective in a positive way on Mark Davis, don't you?
Yeah, well, 100%, man. Yeah, I mean, I feel like what he has done, because I feel like ever since he took over, he's been trying to find that other person to take over football operations, because he's not the, I mean, he knows his ball and
but he's
stuff
not
like
his
that.
dad.
And he's not his dad. Exactly. He's not his dad. And so now, I mean, starting from Reggie McKenzie all the way up until, I mean, he wanted Mayock to do it. And he wanted, Telesco to do it. He wanted all these other guys. He wanted Ziegler and McDaniels to do it. He's trying to find that person. Well, now he's found it in Thomas Brady, and
that's
so now,
because he's got the juice that, and that's the thing. I'm sorry I cut you off again, but that's what I do.
Well, yeah.
But and say what you want about Gruden 2.0. Gruden had juice. Like he gave Gruden all the freaking, power, and Gruden had the respect of a lot of people around the league and a lot of players, and so he had that. And that's what Tom Brady has. Tom Brady's got juice. He's got pull. We talk about it all the time on this show. The gravity, okay? Talk about Tom Brady being gravity, pulling talent in towards him, whether that's coaching, whether that's now a front office guy, whether it's going to be players. People are going to want to be around Tom Brady. This is the first piece of the puzzle we're seeing finally get laid, to where you've got now a highly talented, highly recruited guy, highly touted guy that goes, yep, Las Vegas Raiders, sign me up. And that's Tom Brady factor.
Yeah, 100%.
And you don't get there without Mark freaking giving him that power.
Absolutely, man. You know, so I mean, I think for the longest time, you know, like kind of like what I was saying, Mark has been looking for that guy. And I feel like Tom Brady is going to eventually become what Al Davis was for a really long time, managing general partner.
Come on, dude.
He's going to be the guy. And so, you know what? So he will also essentially be a general manager. We won't need an assistant GM. We'll have the GM and we'll have Tom freaking Brady, you know, and these guys will put their minds together and do their thing. And so, I mean, we're going to see a lot more, you know, I mean, Tom's going to be involved in drafting. He's going to be involved. I mean, he's going to be involved in so much stuff.
Well, and there's a reason Al Davis's title was managing general partner. It wasn't Al Davis general partner. It was managing general partner. That means he ran the shit. He was the GM. So I'm with you. And I don't think that Tom Brady is going to be a meddler, but if he's got somebody like John Spytek who he can trust the shit out of, they can have a conversation, because they're boys. So they can have a conversation, you know what I mean, about a guy or a player or a position or a coach or whatever. They can have a conversation, but ultimately Tom is going to give his input, and then his guy's going to make the call. Because I don't see Tom being I see Tom being more distant even than Al Davis as a managing general partner. But ultimately, that's where this thing is going, Raider Nation. I truly believe that, like, Mark doesn't have an heir. Like, he doesn't have it. And when you look at the way that, like, you look at the David Teppers of the world, you look at the way that owners that are outside the NFL find their way and don't, like, inherit a team like the Yorks or whatever else. Like, there are plenty of people that inherit teams. But for, you know, Amy, what is it, Drunk Adams or whatever her name is, like, she inherited the Titans from her dad, right? From Bud Adams, right? So unless if it's not an inheritance type situation, the way that new ownership finds its way in is that you're a minority partner on a team, and then you get an opportunity to buy out a larger portion of it and then ultimately become the majority owner. And I think that's where this is going with Tom. I mean, I'm turning the calendar a few times.
Mark doesn't have an heir.
He does. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I mean, I might be an old man before it happens, but, you know, God bless Mark Davis, and I hope he lives a long ass life. His mom is freaking, what, she 96?
Yeah, she's in her 90s. Yeah, for sure.
Like, well into it. And so, God bless, he has a long life. But Tom Brady is ultimately, I think, when this thing goes down, he's going to have an opportunity, because he's going to do nothing but accumulate wealth from here out, whether it be from the Raiders or whether it be from Fox or whatever. He's going to accumulate wealth, and he's not like he wasn't wealthy before, for crying out loud.
He's got all his own brands, and he's got all this other stuff. Yeah,
dude, he got Giselle money, man.
Well, yeah, 100%.
It ain't even Patriots money. He got Giselle money.
He's making so much more now than what he was when he was playing.
Yeah, exactly. Right? That's what I'm saying. And so he'll have an opportunity to accumulate a shit ton of wealth. And when it comes time, you watch. He'll buy out the Davis portion of the damn team and become I'm with you, Jeff, managing general partner. That's what a mind F that is, bro. Crazy shit. Tom Brady. Becoming the fucking owner of the Raiders.
Yeah, it's the total opposite of, you know, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see. Tom Brady's lived long enough to see himself become the hero.
That is unbelievable.
That's incredible.
Dude.
Hey, Graf is in the building.
Oh, what's up,
Hey,
Graf?
what's up, Graf? Let me shout out the chat while you're looking for your next clip right there. Silver Assassins is in there. Paul is in there. Chuck Raider in there. Martin, Tony Collins is in there. Chef B, Hitstick Stepper is in there. True Raider in there. Let's see, my wife in there. Michelle in there.
Hey, Michelle.
Wyoming Raider in there. Let's see here. Yoshi's in there. Chuck Raider. Ron the Mater Raider. Let's see. Jordan Ford in there. Let's see here. Let's see. Graf says the last time we won a championship in Tampa, the last time we lost a championship against Tampa on the 41st anniversary, we hire Tampa.
Oh,
it's a Tampa kind of day.
That's legit.
It's
man.
a Tampa kind of day. Wow,
love it. That's legit.
Dang. Well, there you go.
All right, we go. I'm gonna hit a break here, Jeff.
Hit a break.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
That's amazing.
This is Dennis Haysbert, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
Oh, beautiful.
Love it.
Is that docile in it?
How cool is that?
That's amazing. I mean, we're in good hands.
Hey, I can write that off my taxes, man. I usually get about 50 grand for that.
All right, appreciate everybody that's in the chat room tonight. Appreciate you, Graf, jumping in there, man, for
Heck
sure.
yeah.
Graf's calling a lot of this stuff, man. He's called a lot of what's going on. Graf is he's knee deep in this Raider stuff. Often when it comes to this, he was talking about today, Jeff, about some of the head coaching options that are going to be out there.
Sure.
Once the hire came out with John Spytek, and one of the things that he was speculating on was Cliff Kingsbury, and I think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think that when it comes to the relationships and the way that relationships form in the NFL, is that guys are going to want to go comfortable, but where they see success. And if Cliff Kingsbury last year with the Raiders, with a head coach on a very short contract, right? Uncertainty at quarterback, and makes a decision to go to Washington, and saw that season has turned out, man. Those guys
No kidding.
balling out over there.
No kid.
So clearly he made the right move. But point being, though, is that Cliff said no to the Raiders last year. Well, now he's in a position. Could he say yes to the Raiders now? And when you look back at the connectivity between Cliff Kingsbury and Tom Brady, not only were they former teammates going way back when, but they're boys.
Yeah, they're bros.
They're boys just like Spytek and frickin' Brady are. So it would not shock me, and Graf was the first one to bring this up. And as soon as he said it, I was like, And then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh shit, he's dead ass right. Like because it's those personal relationships, like it's a big ass deal. You know what I mean? I'd hire you and you'd hire me.
Yeah.
Would hire me.
100%.
Like if we had it, you know what I mean? Because it ain't about just like, oh, we get to hang out and have fun together because we're boys. It's I can trust you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I'm like, okay, hey Jeff, here's the thing, and I need you to do this. You'll be like, got you, dude. I'm on it, and I know it'll happen, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, hey Murf, I need you to follow through on the thing. Got you, bro.
It's
like
done.
I'm following through on it. Like
It's
it's just
done.
you can trust it. So like, there's so much truth to that idea that you could hire people that you have that kind of connectivity with, and Cliff Kingsbury makes a lot of sense. Now, that said, after that, it's still really up in the air. I kind of have landed my own fan opinion for whatever it's worth, and shout out whoever it was 2 weeks ago in the chat room said Todd Monken. Then I was like, Todd Monken. I'm like, all right. I'm like, whatever. And I, because I knew Todd from coaching at Georgia, back-to-back national championships at Georgia, coaching Brock Bowers, Amir White, yada, yada. I knew that, and obviously knew that he was the offensive coordinator now in Baltimore. But I didn't know a ton about Todd Monken, like, prior to that. And I had to look it up, like, on the show. When the guy brought him up, I'm like, I don't know, let me look it up.
He's been around for a long time.
He's been around a hot minute. And then when you dig in to this guy's background, holy shit, you want to start connecting some dots. So we'll get into the two old men that have been floated out there today too, okay? But first, before we get that out, I want to say this. Not only do I think that Todd Monken is not only highly qualified and highly fitted for this role, especially depending on who we get at quarterback. If we end up with like a Jalen Milroe or something, who else would you want to design an offense around a guy like that than Todd Monken?
Than the guy that coaches Lamar.
Exactly. So, I mean, so I understand, like, so fit-wise, I think it makes a lot of sense. Timing-wise, it makes a lot of sense. Relationship-wise, I think that it makes a lot of sense. So I think that it's not only for those things, but I am dead set as a fan. My opinion doesn't mean shit. Only what, you guys are willing to listen to on these microphones. I'm dead set on the idea that we've got to get an offensive head coach. And you guys have heard me talk my shit about, whatever coaches and, You know what I mean? And I've floated a lot of not nonsense, but a lot of ideas around on Twitter and shit and whatever and where. And I don't not mean those things, but truly, though, my heart's heart, I hope we get an offensive guy, just because I think that it eliminates the turnover that you get at offensive coordinator. Because no matter, like, if you bring in Vrabel, Braves did. He brought in Josh McDaniels. But you know what? Brilliant fucking, God dang, I'm swearing. You know how brilliant fucking Vrabes is?
Yeah.
He hired an offensive coordinator that he won't have to worry about leaving.
Oh, he'll never leave.
Because that's the dig. And that's that thing when we were talking about Vrabel. I'm like, well, I love Vrabes, but he's going to have to nail offensive coordinator. And if he does, said offensive coordinator is only going to be around for 2 or 3 years before they get offered a head coaching job.
Not Josh McDaniels.
And I said, and it can't be Josh McDaniels. There's no way you could put Josh McDaniels back in silver and black and put him with the freaking Raiders. So what does he do? He goes to New England, like probably he should, and he hires a guy that was a highly successful offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, and no one's going to want him.
No, he'll never be a head coach again.
He'll never be a head coach again. It's genius that Vrabes hired Josh McDaniels. So, all that said, aside from the rarest of scenarios like that, I would love for us to hire an offensive-minded head coach a la Mike McCarthy, a la frickin', Todd Monken, a la John Gruden. Like, but point is, Sean, McVay, Andy Reid, like a guy, Matt LaFleur, a guy that calls his own plays, because then you don't have to worry about your offensive coordinator getting touted as a head coach candidate. Ben Johnson, for crying out loud, he gone. The best season the Detroit Lions have had in ever. And all of a sudden, their offensive coordinator, gone. Defensive coordinator, gone.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry about that if you're the guy calling the shots as the de facto offensive coordinator, and then your offensive coordinator you have on staff is just helping you break down film and strategize, and doing the Greg Olson to John Gruden type thing. So that said, Todd Monken's, at this point, that's my guy. And if it's not Monken, somebody else that can fit that offensive-minded role. And then if not a guy like that, then we'll have to get your comments, Jeff. We'll get into who some of the other options are.
Yeah, well, I love Monken. I like Graf's point too. I love Cliff Kingsbury. I think he would be a great hire as well.
There would be another guy.
He would be another. Yep, for sure. But I think that if you bring Todd Monken in, I think you also have to bring a younger offensive mind in too.
Okay.
That I think because how long is Monken gonna head? He's getting up there in age, right?
Bitch, he ain't that much older than me.
What are you talking about? He's in his late 60s.
Todd Monken?
Yeah.
No, he's 58.
He is? Are you sure? He was born in the early 60s?
No, he was. He was born in the late 60s. I was born in the early 70s.
Okay, well then you go. But I like the idea of bringing in a guy like Byron Leftwich, that could come in and be the offensive coordinator, put those minds together. I think that would be great. I'd still, we still got to land because I think Patrick Graham.
He's 58 years old.
Oh, okay.
That some bitch can be a head coach for another freaking,
30 years.
Well, let's not go all freaking Marv Levy on him, but 68, 70, at least 12 years.
Okay.
When was the last time we had a head coach for 12 years?
I can't.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you
go. You know
go.
what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Have we ever had one for 12 years?
No, Madden was only 10.
Yeah. How long was Flores?
I don't think he was that. He would have come in right after Madden. So, Madden would have been, what is that, 79
to, and I think
84, 85?
No,
so maybe.
No, Flores was around to the late 80s.
Was it late 80s?
Yeah, it was.
Because they were too bad. 86, maybe 7,
87,
something like that.
88.
Yeah, because then was
87.
it Shell that came in after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've never had a coach for 12 years.
I don't think so. We've never had a coach for 12 years. We've barely had one for 10.
There you go. Well, come on, Todd Monken. Set a Raider record. Set a Raider record for sure. But like to see the different things that he's done, starting at Grand Valley State as a graduate assistant in '89. He was a graduate assistant at Notre Dame. He was the DB coach and wide receiver coach from '93 to '97 at Eastern Michigan. He served some time at Louisiana Tech. He was the passing game coordinator from 2002 to 2004 at Oklahoma State. He was the passing game coordinator in 2005 and 2006 for LSU. So I guess he probably was there with Jabustis Fatback.
He sure was.
Yeah, for sure.
Taught him to throw from his knees.
There you go. But so he did so well with Jabustis that he moved on and was the wide receiver coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars from 2007 to 10.
And that was his first NFL job.
And that was his first NFL job. Then he goes back to college for a little bit at Southern Miss. He's the offensive coordinator from 2016 to 2018 at Tampa. So he comes back, and then he's the offensive coordinator for 1 year in Cleveland, and then he goes and gets 2 national championships.
For Freddie Kitchens.
Bro.
Disaster year.
That's disaster for sure. But then he goes back to college from 2020 to 2022 and is the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for Georgia. So he's there for Brock Bowers' freshman and sophomore year. And Zeus and all that stuff, and he coaches the back-to-back national championships, and then 2023 goes to the Ravens and coaches Lamar, and he's the offensive coordinator his first year. I mean, I don't know what was the Ravens' record this year.
A lot.
It was a lot versus a little, for sure. Except for when the Raiders played them.
Well, that's true.
Hey.
Yeah, we got it on the background.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. But
I don't know what were they 13-4, like
in his first year. Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it was.
for
Yeah,
sure.
like
Yeah. So I mean, he's only had a handful of losses since 2023 for the Ravens. So I mean,
yeah. And what about anybody that's like critical of like Monken? They were like in the playoffs that first year, and they're like, oh, he got away from the run game against Kansas City, and that's what cost us the game, and blah blah blah. I'm like, do you realize who your running backs were? There's a reason that they got Derrick Henry. There's a reason this is the first year ever since freaking Lamar was backing up Joe Flacco that he wasn't the leading rusher on the football team.
Come on.
Yeah, like you can get away with that shit in the regular season, but in the freaking postseason, no, you can't rely on a running game coming out of your quarterback. Because who was there? Was it Gus Edwards?
It was Gus Edwards and it was J.K. Dobbins. And J.K. Dobbins went down like week 1 with an Achilles.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Gus Edwards. There you go.
You're
going to beat the Chiefs running the ball with Gus Edwards? No, there's a reason he ran away from it. But he clearly didn't this year. You know what I mean? He clearly didn't get away from Derrick Henry this year. 2,000 yards and freaking. Oh my gosh. Derrick Henry was a beast in the playoffs.
100%.
He lost, but I mean, he was still great.
Yeah.
So, anyways, no, I think Todd Monken's the guy, man. What's the chat room saying, dude?
Let's see here.
Shout him out too while you're in there.
Yeah, absolutely. The Raider Way is in there. Raider Rebel is in there. Wyoming Raider, Tony Shepard, Jordan Ford, SoCal Sal, Ron the Mater Raider. Foxy Scorpio, Raider Roo in there. Jordan Ford, Paul is in there. Martin's in there. Hit Stick Stepper is in there. Let's see. Chef B is in there. Tony Collins in there.
Oh my gosh.
Jeffrey Gaines is in there. Silver Assassins is in there. Frankie Mosqueda is in there.
Hey, Frankie.
Yeah. We got the whole crew, man.
A lot of folks in there, man. That's a good deal.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Jordan Ford says you can't win a Super Bowl with a guy named Gus.
and especially not Gus Bradley, which leads us into our next bit of conversation here, Jeff, is that there are other candidates that are not Todd Monken getting thrown out there. You got Pete Carroll,
right?
Apparently is a leader in the clubhouse. I floated out the name Bruce Arians earlier today, just because of the Tampa connection and the idea that it's an offensive guy. I mean, the guy wrote a book about quarterbacks, for crying out loud, developing quarterbacks. Then you could insert your Byron Leftwich in as your offensive coordinator. But as Graf brought up today too on the social medias, he's just too broken down, man. I mean, the poor guy. I mean, not only is he 72 years old or whatever, but he's had cancer and he has dealt with a heart attack and tore his Achilles and the guy's been kind of through it. And so
sure.
I would love the idea of somebody like Bruce Arians, but I think that it's not going to work. Based on his health, and nor should it. I mean, stay retired, bro.
Stay at the house.
You got that ring, you're good. But in terms of Pete Carroll, I like Pete. I think Pete as a coach is cool. Like,
he's fiery. He gets along with the players. He understands them. You know, one of my favorite Pete Carroll memories is, you know, when they signed DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf comes in without a shirt on in this interview, and then Pete gets up from the table and takes his shirt off.
Oh yeah,
and all
okay.
that. It's super funny, man.
Okay,
yeah,
right
it's
on.
hilarious.
Yeah, so he's a personality, man, and I think that when you consider what this division is, and you've got Super Bowl winning, one for sure, other borderline Hall of Fame type head coaches in Harbaugh, Payton, and Reed, I think it's going, if it's not somebody like Monken, it's going to take a rock star. It's going to take somebody that, again, go back to that word I used earlier about Tom Brady, you're going to have some juice. You're going to have somebody that's not going to be intimidated or, you know, get, you know, whatever by the bright lights. And Pete Carroll's been through it. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been a coach in this league a long ass time. You know, whether to go from the Jets, then he went to USC, won a couple national championships. And then he freaking came back to the league, right? And won a Super Bowl. And you can criticize him for throwing the ball on the 1 yard line, but I don't give a shit. Dude was still in the Super Bowl. Like, I'd love for us to be that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'd love for us to have our team be in a position for a coach to make that kind of a decision. Like, give me a freaking break, man. Like, Pete's legit. Now, the knock against Pete is coordinators, because Pete's got to hire coordinators. Pete's connected with Gus Bradley. Nobody in Raider Nation wants to do the Gus Bradley show number 2.
No.
That's not, we're all about retreads around here a lot of times as fans, but that's not one we want to retread. Ain't nobody trying to bring that bend, don't break, cover 3 stupid ass fucking defense back.
Right.
We are all over that damn thing. That sucks. We didn't like that the first time. Don't want to see that again. Ken Norton Jr., same thing. We've seen it. We've had it. It's been in the building. Like, we get it. Like, that's not the way I want to go. Offensive coordinators. You look at the offensive coordinators that guy's had. Hadn't had a lot of success. I would say that Darrell Bevel is probably the most successful of said coordinators, the guy that he won a Super Bowl with. So I don't know what Darrell Bevel is doing nowadays. Hadn't been in the Darrell Bevel looking up information business in a hot minute, so I don't know. But if I'm sure he's on the street somewhere.
Yeah.
So you could probably bring in a guy like that. Maybe that would make sense. And then maybe you bring in like a Bob Saleh to run the D. I love Bob Saleh.
Yeah, you do.
I love Bob Saleh. Always have.
Yeah.
That guy, I hate the goddamn Niners, but when he was the Niners defensive coordinator, they were freaking
They were money,
stacked.
dude. Yeah.
That team, that defense was badass. So, and then, you know, say what you will about what he's done and when he went to the Jets, but I think there's an Aaron Rodgers factor that comes into play there. But anyways, point being is that he's gonna have to hit home runs on defensive coordinators, or excuse me, on both coordinators. But then, Jeff, here we are back in the same damn boat of like what the Lions are in this year. If they do well, then guess what? They gone.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with Pete. And so
that's why we want the offensive coach. You know, I mean, no disrespect to Pete Carroll, but that's why you want an offensive coach.
That's why you want the offensive coach. And I think that if you do, because of Pete's age, and listen, I think he's a very youthful 72 years old. Like he in better shape than most people watching this show right now. Like, I mean, and that's not disrespect to the people watching the show. I'm just saying that like homie is freaking kept himself together. Like, so you're not talking like a broken down old man out here.
Sure.
That is going to coach the team. So I don't think as far as like, you know, cognizance and physicality, you know, he's fine. I ain't worried about that.
Right.
But that said, Father Time is undefeated and he's not going to coach for 10 years. Like we were just talking about, right? With what the potential could be for a Monken or whatever else, right?
Sure.
So he's not going to coach 10 years. So whoever he brings in as coordinator, one or the other, preferably the offensive one, that's then the guy that's going to be your successor. And you're going to groom him and mentor him and prepare him to take the role when you decide to retire. 3 years down the road, when you can retire a la Dick Vermeil and right off into the sunset, right? You make your freaking, your return, you win your ship, and then bang, you're gone, right? And then you turn it over to, who's that guy? Mike Martz. Remember Vermeil turned it over to Mike Martz, right? That's ideally what you would want this scenario to look like. Now, who that guy would be, I don't know. I mean, who could he bring in who would want that job that would be willing to be under Pete's tutelage for 2 or 3 years and then take the reins after the Raiders win a championship? That's what you would be hoping for with Pete Carroll. So I ask you, and I ask the chat room, how does that sound to you? To me, it's fine, but it's by far the second choice I would have, as much as I can respect and love Pete. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely my second choice too, because I want to see a long-term plan. And as tenured as Pete Carroll is, and his bona fides that he's got and stuff like that, yeah, it's just it's not a long-term answer. It's kind of like what we were talking about last year with Antonio Pierce talking about, Band-Aids at the quarterback. I don't want to have a Band-Aid at the head coach position. And as great as Pete Carroll is, he might be a Band-Aid. He might just be a guy that's just going to be there for a few years, that is going to try to turn this team around, do whatever, but he's not the long-term answer. And so I would like a younger offensive coach, even if it's a younger defensive coach. I want to have someone that we know can be there for quite some time. I saw a couple people in the chat saying, well, maybe Pete Carroll and then Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator. He ain't coming here
Cliff
as an
ain't coming to be the OC.
Coming to be the OC. I love
He'll stay put in Washington.
100%.
Yeah,
in Washington. Yeah, for sure. But I love your take on Bob Saleh. I think Bob Saleh would be an unbelievable thing. But right now, I have a whole lot of trust in our organization right now, because they cleaned house and now they're doing things the right way. The number one contender and the number one pick that I feel like unanimously everybody wanted was John Spytek. Well, we got our guy. I understand that Ben Johnson didn't choose us, but really Ben Johnson was never going to choose us until he talked to Tom Brady and then was kind of thinking about it. You know what I mean? So that's the Tom Brady effect there. But, at the end of the day, Ben Johnson decided to go with, a team that had a, franchise quarterback under their wraps right there. So what were you going to say?
Ben Johnson lost me.
He did.
Quick.
Okay.
We might have
explain that.
We might have dodged a bullet on that one.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is, did you see the little video that he made?
No.
I wish I had it. Hey, Bears Nation.
Oh.
I can't wait to get going. Dude, he's less than 48 hours from getting his ass knocked out of the freaking of the playoffs.
And he's going to go to a division rival.
And calling Bears Nation and I can't wait to get going. In his press conference today, he was like, I have so much respect for Kevin O'Connell and for Dan Campbell and what great coaches they are. And and I love beating Matt LaFleur's ass twice a year too. And I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it was like, dude, you haven't done anything yet. You just walked in the building and fist bumped Caleb Williams. That's it. That's all you've done today. Easy with that shit. He's a...
Oh, he might think his shit don't stink.
Oh, yeah. What do we always say, man? You start buying into your own hype.
Yep.
That's when shit goes downhill.
100%. Holy cow.
I think Ben Johnson thinks a lot of Ben Johnson. And this is not save me the goddamn coping tweets, for crying out loud. I'm sick of that stupid word. Cope harder, Murf. This is not me coping because Ben Johnson went to the Bears. I'm telling you that today, and since he's been hired, there's been a smidge of a reveal of character, and I view that as arrogance. Do I want our head coach to have a smidge? That question is no, because we got plenty of that with Josh McDaniels, and that was a fucking mistake.
Right.
So no. And this is not a cope. This is me telling you, this dude revealed a bit of his character, and I didn't like it.
There you go. There you go. I got nothing else.
Put that in your damn pipe and smoke it.
Well, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Let's do a break, Swag Jeff.
All right, let's do that.
What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Will Compton. You're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with my boys Murf, Swaggy Jeff, and Uncle Mosh. Tune in because they fucking put out a banger podcast.
Las Vegas, a city without a pro football team, in a world gone mad. What can we do about it? Acquire the most desired franchise in sports history? Sin City, lost wages, home of the Elvis weddings, and 24-hour debauchery. But finally, a match made in heaven. The Oakland Raiders have landed in the desert with the Death Star as their home. And to celebrate beyond your imagination has come 3 individuals hosting the most irreverent show while paying homage to the storied history of this franchise. Raiders Fan Radio with Murf, Swaggy J, and Michelle, taking a lighter side journey into the dark side.
This is Raiders Fan Radio. I'm Brent Musburger, and I don't care who wins, as long as it's the Raiders.
All right, RaiderNation, appreciate you guys so very, very much for checking out this episode, number 363 of Raiders Fan Radio. And I'll leave it to Swag Jeff to shout out the chat room. But we appreciate all of those of you that are in the chat room and can't wait to get back and catch up with your comments in there, what you think about the GM, what you think about the head coach, and what you think about the direction of your Las Vegas Raiders. So we're going to talk a little bit now about draft prospects, Swag Jeff. So
Okay.
you and I started to have a conversation here before the show, and I was like, "Oh man, we got to save that for the show. We got to save that for the show."
Okay.
Because you dropped a little bit of a knowledge on me about.
I did?
Yes, you did. What did the Tennessee Titans come out and say today? So they've got a new. They hired their new general manager. Yes.
No, I don't believe they have.
No, they're
yet.
vacant. It's still vacant.
Yeah.
No. They announced him today.
Oh, they did?
Sloronsky or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever the guy's name is. But
Well,
anyway,
good.
the point being though is that so they announced their new general manager today. But they made a statement around?
They made a statement and said that they were not going to pass on generational talent with the number 1 overall pick.
Maybe that was him. Maybe that was his thing.
It may have been.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But I didn't see it. But anyways, but point being though is that not soundbite, but that news bite. Is that what the kids call them?
Yeah, news bites.
Called a headline. So they're not willing to pass on generational. So let's decipher the tea leaves here.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I mean, to me, there's only one generational, because that's a strong word.
Strong word.
That's a very strong word. So as far as generational talent, there's one guy in the draft, and it's not a quarterback. It's Travis freaking Hunter.
It's Trav,
man.
That's it.
So do they go BPA with their number 1 overall pick? You know, and then do what? Well, okay,
but
I'll
I would say this.
Well, let me say it. Let me say it because there's a lot of, there are free agent quarterbacks that are going to be available. And the hot name that I've seen floating around the Titans is Sam Darnold. If they go Sam Darnold and bring him in, then they can go BPA as the number 1 overall pick. And then there's only a couple of other teams ahead of your Las Vegas Raiders that need a quarterback. So could we get Cam Ward or Shador at pick 4?
Certainly possible.
It's possible.
I mean, so here's the thing, though. Actually, I think there's 2 guys that are generational talent in this draft. I think it's him and Genty.
Yes.
But
agreed.
Are you going to draft Genty at number 1 overall?
No.
I think it would be irresponsible, even if that's your guy. And the Titans could use him. If they got Sam Darnold.
But they got Tony Pollard and they got Tajay Spears. And Tajay Spears ain't no slack.
Yeah, but ain't Ashton Genty.
Well, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. So no, I'm with you though, that between the 2, based on need, they would draft Travis and then trade him away 3 years later, because that's what the Titans do.
That's what the Titans do.
Because they're freaking morons.
Well, yeah.
But anyways, so that's interesting for the Raiders, Because then, if that's the case, now that said too, this could 100% be posturing. Because then you've got teams that don't need a quarterback that are going to be drafting up high.
Right.
And they're going to be like, oh shit, well, we wanted Trav. Right? Like, so we gotta make a deal with the Titans to move. So that could be strategic on their part. Because this is lying season. This is
100%.
This is bullshit season. This is all about posturing and this is the art of the deal is what this time of year is when it comes to GMs and front offices talking about things and making statements and all that kind of stuff. So I only believe it a little bit, but should it be the case where they're going to go BPA, well, then someone's going to either trade into that spot knowing that they could get Trav 2 or 3 picks later.
Uh-huh.
And so they can go get their quarterback. Or if they truly did, then that opens it up again. For us, that's good no matter what.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Because at number 6, if the Titans are willing to make a deal, well, then we could go on up there and get Shedeur.
Sure.
Or Cam Ward. I mean, I think Shedeur's the guy. That's still my guy. But it makes sense.
It does.
It makes freaking sense. It could. I think that's a realistic scenario. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll find out, but it's going to be interesting. This draft season is going to be really fun.
It's going to be really fun.
I think so. And like, a lot of people are down the Raiders, based on the way that we beat the Saints, we beat the Jaguars and won meaningless games. And I get all that, man. I get it didn't help our draft position, but to have an expectation that the team was going to do anything but try to win those games.
There's no such thing as tanking.
It doesn't exist.
It does not exist.
So we are where we are. Now we know, and this is what I was saying all season long, is that I'll worry about the draft when it comes to the draft. Well, now that we're in the offseason, it's time to worry about the draft. Season. So now we can think about the draft. Well, now we're at number 6. Okay, so now what do we think can happen? What's the potential for this? And I think that it's evolving in a positive way for the Raiders, either to get a generational type player.
In Ashton Genty at 6?
I think Genty at 6, man. And then you get Jackson Dart, or I think Dart's my guy, even though, like, in terms of the second tier, you know what I mean? And I know it's a far drop off, Raider. I'm not trying to sell you on any opinion here. I'm just saying that, like, the way my brain's going, I think Dart's going to be your guy, just based on size, strength, ability. Like, I get the deficiencies and I understand those things, but I think that, like, that's probably going to be the guy in the later rounds. I'd rather him than Milroe.
I would too.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
definitely
for
over
sure.
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's Short King.
Yeah, shout him out.
Yeah, shout out. No disrespect to me and the Short Kings, but yeah, no.
I mean,
he's
you
not.
Could dunk on him. That's how short he is.
Yeah, I could dunk on him.
Yeah,
for sure. For sure. I got hops.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
You got mad skills on the court.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I put your ass in a bush in Oakland. Hit you with that Josh Jacobs, bro. Yeah.
Actually, you did.
I know. I know.
I know. Well, I know you know, but they don't know. They know now.
Surprised you remember it.
Oh my gosh. I got juked straight into the tan bark.
That was embarrassing, man. That was great.
I tried to shoulder check Jeff, and he gave me a little "what's up?" And he gave me a little dead leg there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that was it. And I was
about 20 feet later, you landed. Yeah.
Shout out the Britannia Pub in Campbell, California.
Hey, there you go. There you go. I didn't know the name of the place.
No, see, I remember that shit.
Well, good for you.
That's all I remember. But
that's all you remember.
Where we were, but I don't remember where we were.
Well, yeah, for sure. But no, I think Jackson Dart's the guy as well. I think and who was in the chat? Raider Enterprises says that Dart's going to shoot up boards after the Combine and Senior Bowl. That's very interesting.
100%. I think the overdrafting in this draft, when it comes to quarterbacks, the overdrafting is be one for the effing record books, dude.
Truth.
I think because people, you have to have it. This is the thing. I harp on this shit all the time.
Swing.
You have to have a goddamn quarterback.
Swing.
It's why Tom Telesco got fired. You want to know why Tom Telesco got fired? Because we don't have a quarterback.
There you go.
Got to get the quarterback figured out. First and foremost, the number one responsibility of a front office when it comes to the NFL is figure out the quarterback situation. Don't put Band-Aids on it. Antonio Pierce said, we are not going to have a Band-Aid at quarterback. And then we had 2.
Yep.
And that's one of the big reasons why he and Tom Telesco are no longer part of this football team.
True.
It's why coaches and front office people get fired, because they can't figure out the goddamn quarterback. Look what happens when you figure it out. Jaden Daniels.
NFC Championship game.
Come
Hello.
on, dude. It's not CJ Stroud. Like, look how many teams have turned the shit around on a dime. The Bengals were, well, I wouldn't say they were ass, but they were fine with Andy Dalton.
They were ass adjacent.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
I mean, look at our own division. Look at the stupid ass donkeys. You know, and we shit. We shit on Bo Nix the entire draft process.
100%
that guy's a pansy. He'll never make it in this division. He'll never make it in this league. The guy transferred away from Auburn because those SEC fans are so rude, and so he decided to go to Oregon where everyone's high. And you know what I mean? Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? But
I agree.
But now looking at it, I would love to have Bo Nix on my football team. You know what I mean? Like, that guy balled out this year, you know, and turned that franchise around.
That's all you need. So
that's all you need.
You got to get the quarterback. There's a reason that Sean Payton jettisoned Russ after 1 season.
Yes.
Not worth it. Ate that fat contract.
Yep.
They have all the dead money in the world. Didn't matter. Didn't care. There's a reason the Titans drafted, Will Levis on the heels of freaking Malik Willis. They didn't care. There's a reason. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get the quarterback figured out. So that said, that's going to lead to teams panicking.
Yeah.
And people are going to overdraft for whatever quarterbacks are out there. And you're going to see guys like Milroe.
Yeah, you're going to see Jackson Dart go late in the first round.
Watch it happen.
Yeah.
Watch it freaking happen, dude. I would love it. This, to me, just Murph talk here. Doesn't mean anything. I'm not trying to be right. I'm not trying to sell you an opinion. It's just my own personal fan opinion. I would pull Ashton Genty in the first round, with our first pick at number 6. Should he be there? Odds are he will. Pull Ashton Genty and then move back up into the first round.
Yep.
Snag Jackson Dart. Like that to me. Then you've got Dart and Genty and Bowers and freaking, Jacoby, and who knows? Chris Godwin could be out there for freaking, it could be available. And
T.
one
Higgins.
of his old bosses is going to be freaking calling the shots. T. Higgins going to be available. T. Higgins going to be expensive as shit.
He will be.
But like that now, you know what I'm saying? Like how we would have patience with a Jackson Dart if you surround him with a shit ton of talent.
Yeah.
And then let him work in and evolve as a quarterback for a year or two.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I'm down for that.
And if you're going to go the free agent route, go grab Justin Fields.
100%.
Go grab Justin Fields.
Especially if Todd Monken is your freaking head coach.
Come on, dude. Come on, man. These wheels are turning, man. It's
that's
getting
what I'm saying.
Don't give me hope, damn it. Don't you give me hope.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like and I'm totally with, and if it's not addressed in the draft in terms of quarterback, I am 100% on board with Justin Fields or trading for Hendon Hooker or whoever. If Darnold stays in Minnesota trying to make a run at JJ or whatever the wild ass scenarios that are out there, I'm 100% in favor for the Raiders making a play for their quarterback before the draft, because then you get what? Freedom in the draft.
Hell yeah.
Then you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Then you really can go BPA and you can draft for other needs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm fully on board for that idea too. But should it not be that, then I'm all about it, man. Like pull that guy in the second, late in the first, move out of that second. We're all it's not going to be like expensive.
No.
It won't be expensive to move back into the first round.
Heck no.
And for that
I don't
level,
think so.
And that level
because of where we're at in the second round, because we're 6th pick in the second round. So, okay.
Yeah, so we're 38. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So you trade up with, Washington or something like that. And,
somebody that
jump up to
doesn't
pick
give a
28.
shit about quarterbacks.
100%.
Because everybody in the last 8 isn't going to give a shit about quarterbacks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, whether it's the freaking Lions, whether it's the Chiefs, whether it's the freaking Ravens, they don't care.
Yep.
They don't mind bouncing back down to the freaking second and picking up a third in the process.
Uh-huh.
So, anyways, I think that's the way it's going to go. What's the chat room saying, Swag Jeff?
Let's see here. Let's see. Rodrigo Benjarino, or I screwed that up.
Wow.
Rodrigo, you know who you are. He says tripping with that. Genty is garbage at 6.
No,
that's what he said.
Okay, all right. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion.
Yep.
But no, he's not garbage.
Yep.
And whatever.
Raider Rebel says Riley Leonard at 6'4", and he's 2 inches taller than Jackson Dart and runs a 4.5 40. He's way faster than Jackson Dart too. So Riley Leonard, which that dude I know just got his ass whipped by Ohio State in the national championship game, but the way that they used him and the way that dude can run and pass and stuff like that, that's money, dude. Like, I'm not opposed to that either, because he'll be a later round guy. He'll be around in the 4th round probably.
Is that a Monken fit kind of thing?
I mean, probably. I mean, that dude.
Is it like RPOs and shit and like that kind
and
of
that
stuff?
dude's gritty, man. That dude's tough. That dude like sticks.
I mean, I watched a game, but like,
yeah,
but I haven't watched Notre Dame football all year long.
I haven't either. Johnson's a big Irish. Yeah, we need to ask them what they think about that. Let's see. A lot of people are saying we don't need a running back in round 1. So if you don't take a running back,
if it looks like Genty is gonna, I don't know. You
could. What about that Scattaboo guy?
That Scattaboo's legit, dude. Yeah,
that dude's
Arizona State. Yeah.
That dude, I think
Scrappy,
out of everyone in this draft, he's a Raider, dude. Like that dude reminds me of a damn Raider.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. He's definitely Raidery, and who knows where you can get that guy? You can get that guy way later, probably second at least.
Yeah. Tanner Jack says no on Justin Fields. Okay. Fair. That's the thing. Like, everyone's got their guys, everyone's got their speculations, and this is what the Raiders need to do. And that's all we're doing. We're just having fun. We're just having a fair conversation and stuff like that. And what?
That's the segue.
Oh,
that's the segue.
Because we got things to say, and sometimes we're wrong.
No, we got just things. Well, but then sometimes I just got things to say.
Oh, you got things to say too.
Yeah, hit a break. I got to tell you something.
Okay, I only got 5% on this iPad.
Oh shit.
Hey, Raider Nation, this is Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders.
And goes down, and Max Crosby, who forced a fumble last week.
You're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you so much. Just win, baby.
A lot of people are talking about Abdul Carter in the chat.
Oh my gosh, the guy's that defensive end out of Penn State.
I mean,
dude, throw him
up
on
with
the
Max?
other side of Max Crosby? Come on.
That'd be solid.
You know what?
Then you really could move Tyree Wilson to inside.
To kick him inside. Match him up next to Christian Wilkins. Yeah.
But is that assuming that Kuntz is gone?
I mean, Kuntz is like that hybrid, like outside linebacker edge type thing where Carter's more like a straight up defensive end, like the way that listen to somebody tells me different. I'm not a college football guru. I watch the games, but I don't study players and all that kind. I'm an NFL guy, so I'm not that locked into the details unless somebody in the chat says different. But I think Carter is more like a conventional, like a Max Crosby type.
Okay,
3-point freaking, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Wide 9, go at the quarterback every play. Play the run if it comes outside, contain, like that kind of stuff. Like I think that he's that kind of guy.
And I love a player like that, but like with what this team needs. Is that the pick at 6?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you could re-sign Malcolm Kuntz and probably get 80% of the way there. No, unless you think of Carter's a generational guy, and some people do, based on his performance here late in the year and in the playoff. Like, a lot of people are thinking like this dude's like the next coming. Like he's been spotty, but he's like the Jadeveon Clowney of this year's draft.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Where people are looking at him like that, like there's a game wrecker.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, is that an upgrade over Kuntz? And then you don't got to worry about paying Malcolm Kuntz and you can worry about paying somebody else? Like, all right. I mean, fair.
That's fair.
It's fair. And that's what I'm saying. That's the thing.
Fair.
And that's the thing about, and that's where I say, again, to go back to it, it's so interesting about this Raiders draft is that it's like we have multiple needs and there are multiple good scenarios.
Yeah.
Like there's not a scenario that's going to play out in this thing where it's like, oh man, we're screwed. Like, oh, we have no shot at.
As the kids say, we got options.
We got a lot of freaking options.
We got options.
We got options. And so saying that and knowing that we have a lot of options, let's talk a little bit about the social media. I got a little bit of a bone to pick. I'm not going to say that. I don't want to make it negative. But it's an interesting observation that I've had in the past couple of weeks, especially this last week. I throw a lot of shit out on the Twitter, on the X, Jeff.
Okay.
A lot of scenarios.
Sure.
And for the most part, I think people kind of get where I'm coming from. I take a piss out of things a lot. I don't take myself too seriously. I take my fandom seriously, but I don't take myself very seriously.
Yeah.
I'm just a meathead freaking Raider fan, man, that just likes to talk football.
Sure.
And so sometimes when I go onto the X there and post things, people get really like irritated. They get really like sensitive and like it resorts to name calling. I was called boomer twice this week. First off, I'm Gen X. Like
nice.
Yeah. So the boomer thing, it's stupid. It's just like with coping. Like I even put out a tweet this week and I'm like, what's the deal with all this shit with the coping shit? With and I said you kids, because that's my joke. And I'm like, what's the thing with all this coping shit? I'm like, ain't nobody coping. The Raiders need a head coach. And I'm considering who the next guy is going to be.
Sure.
What the fuck else do you want the Raiders to do? Just stop searching and go, oh, well, Ben Johnson went to the Bears, so, well, I guess we'll just curl up into a little ball and, well, fuck, par us. What the fuck? I mean, it's not coping. It's considering what the next steps are. Like, that's what you do. Who's the next man up? Who's the next best option for this football team?
Right.
So whether it's in a public forum, internet style, like X, or it's sitting here in this room, or it's hanging out with our Raider friends, talking shit, asking questions. It's just conversation.
Sure.
So lighten the hell up, man. Like, and I'm sure everybody in our chat room gets it. And I'm sure there's nobody in our chat room that can take it. But to anybody that's out there on the X and anybody, like, just lighten up, man. Just have a fun football conversation. Just because I have an opinion or a suggestion, then sometimes I'll make a suggestion, Jeff, that I don't even think is the answer. Like today, when I brought up Bruce Arians, I'm like, when do we start talking about Bruce Arians? Being that we've got John Spytek in the house now and Tom Brady in the house now. There's some lines connected back to Bruce Arians. So when do we have a conversation about him? I'm not saying this needs to happen. This isn't me like going to get on my Raider freaking X pulpit and going like, we need to sign Bruce Arians. No, I'm just asking a question. There's floating out a scenario because I like talking football with Raider fans. That's it. Like, it drives me nuts, bro, that like people get all in their freaking feelings and get all tore up about different shit. And even if we don't agree on something, like I've been busting Mo's balls this week. Mo Moten, shout out Mo Moten from Silver and Black today. I've been busting his balls about Gruden stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because I'm like, Gruden. And he'll like say something. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're talking about Gruden. And then I'll post a picture of Gruden or post a picture of me and Gruden or post like whatever, or me wearing a knock on wood shirt with Will pointing at it. You know what I mean? Or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's having fun, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy this shit. This isn't life or death. It's just Raider football. I would just encourage people, don't take yourselves too seriously. Let's just have damn fun with it, man.
Absolutely. Well, Jordan Ford says, cope harder, boomer, with a $5 donation.
Hey, whoops.
Okay. That was appropriate.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah. Michelle is in there, says, this rant is giving, boomer.
Get off my lawn, Michelle.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of takes.
Okay.
Speaking of takes,
you don't want to comment on any of that?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't want to talk about my people. You're talking about the kids.
Oh, that's you fucking millennials.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm swearing a lot tonight.
You're swearing a lot tonight.
I'm feisty, bro.
Yeah, you're feisty. You're feisty.
Still, Michelle's on here. I'm trying to take up all the F-bombs on her behalf.
Yeah, well, you took them for episode 372. You're up that far. Well, you have a lot of takes on the Twitter, on the X and stuff like that. And the three of us in here, we've had a lot of takes on Raiders Fan Radio too.
Yeah. Oh, do it. Yes.
And some of them are good. Some of them are not so good.
There's a few, but
there's every now and then we catch fire and we get a good one. But speaking for myself, I made a lot of bad calls here at Raiders Fan Radio. So
we're going to highlight our bad takes.
We're going to highlight some of our bad takes. We're going to go a little tongue in cheek. We're going to have a little fun and talk about some of the stupid ass shit that we have said here at Raiders Fan Radio.
And comes on the heels of Antonio Pierce getting let go from the Raiders,
right?
Which we all were highly endorsing. of Antonio Pierce being next head coach.
Oh my gosh.
And then so that was like, wow, we were talking about it on text message with you, me, and Michelle.
Right.
We're like, wow, all three of us were so wrong.
Yeah.
So bad. And then we're like, how many bad takes have we had? So Swag Jeff, go ahead and kick us off. I got a feeling, because you and I share a lot of opinions, not always. You're similar.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and kick us off there. You kick off the conversation and I'll just jump in.
Okay. Well, you brought up Antonio Pierce. We were all riding high on Antonio Pierce, and I don't remember what episode number it was. It was probably about a year ago now, because we had just hired Antonio Pierce. We were all fired up, this Raider way, all this stuff, bringing back the old school vibe of the Raiders and all that stuff. And I said something so stupid on Raiders Fan Radio, and I said that Antonio Pierce, although he is a fresh head coach and all that stuff, he is well on his way to be in the same league as John Madden.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I did. I said that. I said that, and I was wrong.
Were you?
I was a little bit wrong. I was
couldn't
off.
Tell.
I was off. Yeah, I was off a little bit. I was off a little bit. Yeah, 100%.
It's not a good take.
Yeah, no, it's not a good take. What about a take that you did?
Oh my gosh, dude! I've been called bootlicker. So all the names that I get called, whether it be in the chat or whether it be on the social medias and stuff, I get called bootlicker all the time, because here's the thing: is that here's what I'm highly guilty of, and I accept this fate, and I embrace this concept. I root for every incarnation of the Raiders.
Okay,
like I will support and look for something to be positive for every incarnation of the Raiders until there's a reason to not be, including when John Gruden came back. I was highly supportive and highly touting the idea of John Gruden's return, to the point to where that was the first time I ever got called a bootlicker, was about John Gruden. Now, I will say the caveat is that John Gruden was let go on some really irregular circumstances. It wasn't from failure. We had a winning record at the time that the guy was let go. But that said, in establishing that idea, so this is kind of a twofold one, I said the same thing about Josh McDaniels. I had full faith in Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler and their ability to run an organization. They were friends, like everything lined up to like, oh, okay, all right. This is going to be, he's learned his lesson. He learned everything he needed to learn in Denver. He's going to make a triumphant return to the NFL. He's got his buddy. They can work together. And so again, I got all the bootlicker comments until I didn't, because I started shitting on Josh McDaniels because he sucked.
All right.
But it was the point being, though, is that like that idea that I will ride or die for Antonio Pierce, freaking Josh McDaniels, John Gruden. I will ride or die for the next coach. So get your bootlicker comments ready, because for the next guy, when he comes in, I'm going to look for him to do something positive. So, but I earned that term because, it is what it is. I like the Raiders, and I want the next guy to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of Josh McDaniels, speaking of Josh McDaniels, I made an amazing claim that I was okay with the fact that we didn't take a quarterback in the CJ Stroud draft. Because we had one Jimmy Garoppolo in the building. And I said that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to lead us to the playoffs. I bought 2 Jimmy Garoppolo jerseys, a home and an away. It's a bad call.
That's rough.
It's a bad call on my part.
That's rough, bro.
It's a bad call on my part. You want me to rapid fire? I got a lot.
Do it.
I said that Mariota will replace Derek Carr and lead us to the playoffs. Daniels made our 2021 playoff team better. I said that Minshew was the next Jim Plunkett. I said that Jonathan Abram was the best player to wear 24 since Charles Woodson.
Now, I own that one with you. I was all in on John Abram, dude.
Holy
I
cow.
thought that guy was going to be a beast.
I said Antonio Brown was exactly what the Raiders needed and that he was my favorite player. I said that on my first show of Raiders Fan Radio. I started off with a bang, dude. Said some stupid ass shit. I don't know why the hell y'all kept me around. Don't know why y'all kept me around.
That's my favorite player.
Yeah. Because that was the first 2 questions you asked me on Raiders Fan Radio.
Yeah.
Who's the quarterback? I said, of course, Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Said, who's your favorite Raider? Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, but you know what, though? Like, And kudos to you for owning that shit, man.
Yeah. And I'll have more bad takes later.
And as will I. It's what happens when you're a passionate fan. You got your takes and you got your ways of looking at things, and they're not always right. And often, because listen, when you got a team that hasn't won shit and is a really bad football team historically over the last 20 years, like that's not going to work out. And so I'll give you one going back to when this is pre-show. We drafted Darius Hayward-Bay in the first round. And I remember I was talking to my brother, who's a big Niner fan, likes to give me shit about the Raiders. And I'm like, dude, we drafted Darius Hayward-Bay. He's pro-ready. And we have Chaz Schliens in the building. Or Schillens. I can never pronounce his name the right way. Chaz Schliens, whatever. And he was coming off an injury year. But he was really good before he got hurt. And I'm like, we didn't draft Hayward-Bay because we needed him to be a number one wide receiver. We got that in Chaz. So Darius Hayward-Bay is just going to come in here and be our burner, man. He's just going to come in there and stretch the field. And then nobody remembered to ask him if he could catch. And so it was Darius Hayward-Bay was a bust. It was not a good pick by Al Davis. That was one of those ones where he lost his fastball, but that was an awful take that I had. I thought for sure that Chaz Schliens and Darius Hayward-Bay were going to be a slam dunk 1-2 wide receiver. But that's that's what happens. I thought freaking Justin Fargas, Michael Bush, and Darren McFadden were going to be the best backfield in the history of the NFL. I'm like, there's no stopping these guys. These three guys combined, there is no way that in the history of the Raiders organization or the NFL, you could find me three better running backs playing on the same team.
Yep.
Didn't work out.
Yep.
What's chat room saying? Are they owning any of their mistakes?
Oh, for sure. Well, Paul says, I think we were all bought into Antonio Brown as well, even when he showed up to practice in a balloon.
Yeah, but Ted Hendricks showed up to practice on a horse one time.
Well, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? That was some Raidery shit.
That's true.
Tell it wasn't.
Tony Collins says that Dylan Lobby is the next Bo Jackson.
Hey, that remains to be seen.
Hey, there you go.
In fairness. What about anybody owning Tanner Muse in there?
No one's doing that. No, SoCal Sal said it's like Swag confessing his sins up in here. The Raider Wade said that Alex Leatherwood is the new Art Shell. Yikes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Mosa Raider says AOC is the next Tom Brady. The Raider Way says, don't sleep on Andrew Walters. Raider Roost said Rob Streeter was my guy, too. Whoops.
Oh, Rod Streeter. Yeah. Heck yeah. He was for a half a minute.
Yep.
I love it, man. Yeah.
Ron says Aaron Brooks. Just Aaron Brooks.
You know what? I'm with him. I thought Aaron Brooks was going to bring us back. I'm like, he's good in New Orleans. 2 wins later. Is that our 2-win season? I don't know. Ron knows. 4-win season?
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
It was either the 2 or the 4. I don't know. Gosh. I remember when in that season, going in that season, I'll never forget, man. The Raiders were undefeated in the preseason. And Warren Sapp was on NFL Network, like the infant days of NFL Network. And Warren Sapp is on there. And they were asking him about the importance of winning the preseason games. And he was like, yeah, he's like, it's it sets the tone. Like, it's important for us to get it done during these games because it sets the tone that will take us into the regular season. And then they won 2 games. It's just like, holy shit, man.
Yep.
You got it rough up in here, man.
Yep. NorCal Raider, I'm sure just like many, many people among Raider Nation said that Jamarcus Russell will lead us to the promised land.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Number 1 overall pick.
Who probably didn't think that initially.
No, everybody did. That was a collective. It was
thing. Unanimous, right?
It was not only amongst fans, but media. Like, everybody had that is like, oh, that's a good pick for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, that's the guy. Like, I mean, yeah. No, that's definitely a good one. Johnny Lee Higgins was one for me.
Okay.
I love me some Johnny Lee Higgins. Career cut short by injury, unfortunately, but I love Johnny Lee. I'm trying to think of some other players. Definitely not coaches. I think I like coaches. Like, coaches you could seemingly figure out pretty quick. I feel like after a season and a half, I feel like a coach, like you can kind of sense, like Del Rio, like you can kind of sense when they're starting to lose it, but players, it's like, like Jacoby Ford was one I was really excited about. Like, Here's one, Raider Nation. What about Robert Gallery?
There you go.
We thought, okay, here's our next Wisniewski. Here comes Robert Gallery. And then all of a sudden he turned into not a good tackle and he ended up being a decent run blocking guard. But that was it. It was that was all we got from Robert Gallery. But yeah, interesting to kind of revisit that stuff, man, and go back to some of those old takes. Because the stuff before that, like going back in the day, like I don't ever remember having, of course, I might have been just too young, but like you start thinking about like the 90s and the pre-Gruden, like, because, the pre-Gruden one, like, quote, takes I had back then. Like back then I was just watching Raider games. Like I wasn't like highly invested into the offseason and what they were doing and like watching coming out of the draft and being like, oh, this player is going to do this. Then like since that early 2000 run, it's like I'm glued to every damn draft pick, man. I'm glued to everything. And so because we are that, and I know I'm not the only one, because we are that, we end up with these takes. And yeah, they're not all great.
That's all right.
That's fun, man. That's a fun idea.
Yeah, it's a fun idea.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, how about speaking of the chat room stuff too. Let's see.
Shout them out and then let's see if fans.
Yeah. Let's see. That Raiders fan says Don Mosbar over Dan Marino. Yikes.
Oh my gosh. Although Mosbar was great, but not Dan Marino great.
Yep, 100%. Raider Roo says Ricky Dudley.
Oh, no one has hands like Ricky Dudley, Roo.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. Someone in the chat, let me see.
Hit his hands.
Yeah, there you go.
Clank foo over there.
Jordan Ford says, I thought Lane Kiffin was going to turn things around.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Lance.
Oh
jeez,
my gosh.
That's a rough take right there. Thank you for owning that one. That's a rough one to own.
Yep.
That's a rough
Tui
one.
Asasopa was the next Steve Young. The Raider Way's coming in with some fire ones.
Love it, man.
Yeah, he's coming in with,
own it though, man. I thought Tom Cable was going to turn us around.
There you go.
I thought Tom Cable was going to be it, man. I thought Hugh Jackson was. Until Al passed away, and then Hugh Jackson declared himself king of the Raiders, and then Mark Davis fired his ass.
Yep.
But he was a great offensive coordinator, and then came in and kind of helmed that final year and that win against Houston when 10 men on the field, and we end up getting Michael Huff picks off whoever it was. Was it David Carr? It was Matt Schaub. That's right. Picks up Matt Schaub in the end zone, man, to win that game. I thought, okay, man, we might be in some good hands with Hugh Jackson. And then, like I said, he declared himself king of the Raiders, and Mark didn't love that and fired his ass. But man, like there's just been so many things. Of course, then I think about the ones too, Jeff. Like I think about like Denarius Moore. Like I was real high on him. I think about like those Jason Campbell years. Like got cut short because of injury, like to no fault of his, but like those teams, man, that 2011 and like we were on a run, man. Like we were freaking coming back up, like right there at the end of Al's run, and whenever it got cut short. But anyways, all right, let's do see fans.
All right, let's do that. More you and less of us is clearly a good thing.
Clearly.
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's caught, he's thrown. It is.
All right, here we are on the Sea of Fans mailbag. This is where we hear from more of you and less of us, because that's always a good thing. We're going to kind of get a hurry up on this because we're coming up on 2 hours already, Jeff. Jeez.
Wow, we're having fun.
It's been a blast, man. It's been a good time talking some Raider ball. But anyways, more of you and less of us is a good thing, so we appreciate all of those of you in the chat room. And if you want to be part of that chat room, you can check us out at youtube.com/RaidersFanRadio, or you can call the show at 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Or you can email the show, and you can email the show at show, that is SHOW at RaidersFanRadio.com. And Swag Jeff has got our emails tonight for the majority.
Oh, you need to kick this off.
I've got one, and I'm gonna read this one here from our good buddies in the chat room tonight. Our good buddy Raider Roo. Haven't heard from Roo in a hot minute.
Okay.
And he says, hello, Raider Nation. I realize that Arians and Carroll are proven head coaches, but I don't believe either is right for the Raiders. It is my opinion that any rebuilding team that hires a head coach in his 70s is making a mistake. In that case, you're counting on 2 outliers to be successful. One, either the oldest head coach in NFL history, or the other close to having success in a league nobody in their age ever has. Second outlier is getting the successor right. Look around the NFL. There are 0 examples of it working. 0, zilch, nada, none. The last one in the NFL might be the Niners, Walsh to Seifert. Relying on 2 outliners going correct is a very unstable plan for an organization that absolutely has to get answer in this cycle. If a proven head coach is preferred, why not McCarthy then? Which is very interesting. McCarthy is 174-12 with a 608 winning percentage and 1 Super Bowl win. Carroll 170-120 with a Super Bowl win, and Sean Payton 170-105, similar winning percentage with a Super Bowl win. His resume stacks up, and he's 12 years younger than Carroll, so a better ahead for sustainable success without having to go to a quick head coach change again if it works. I really hope they don't go to the outliers route. There are tried and proven methods, but this isn't one of them. Thank you for your time, Raider Roo.
Hey.
And give it up for Raider Roo. Fair points. And McCarthy is probably not talked about enough in this cycle.
Nope.
That might be my second after Monken.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, the dude's a proven guy, and I know the Cowboys were down, and Cowboys have been down for a long time. But I mean,
They're kind of always down.
But I like McCarthy.
He did great in Green Bay.
Yeah,
it wasn't terrible.
No, it wasn't terrible.
Not at all.
No,
Won Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right.
He had peak Aaron Rodgers though too.
Well, that is true.
Yeah,
that is true. But how much can you do with Dak?
Well, fair.
You know what I mean?
Fair. Why'd they give him all that money? That was stupid.
That was stupid. That was stupid. All right. Hey, I got an email. I got an email. It's a quick one.
Okay.
Well, son of a bitch. Raider Lorian. Much respect, Raider Lorian. Well done. Well done. All right. Good afternoon, family. Well, that sucked. This always happens to me. The Raiders get me excited, make me think things are going to be different, and then we get punched in the face. This time I did it to myself because I kept saying, why the hell would Ben Johnson leave Jared Goff to coach AOC? But then I got excited when he actually took the interview. Once again, we have to be honest here because I'm starting to feel like it's Derek Carr all over again. NFL media has said that the Raiders don't have a quarterback. The NFL doesn't respect the quarterback room. Now, Ben Johnson's actions prove that he would rather leave money on the table and go to Caleb. I don't blame him, although it shows that he's not up for the challenge, or he knows his limitations. He knows that he's not strong enough to take on a program that is hurting in that program. So we move on. I personally would like Pete Carroll to go to Vegas and build this team. Also, bring in a coach with experience to keep the ship sailing when Pete decides to hang up the whistle. This is a rebuild, and it needs to be done correctly. Otherwise, we can expect another decade of just 2 to 4 wins. James Williams. Woo-woo! Much respect, James Williams. All right, next we have Paul. Evening, everybody. Hope things are well. It would seem not having a legitimate quarterback has cost us the opportunity of having Ben Johnson as head coach. There may be other reasons, of course, but if that's a reason, we could be seeing more snubs along the way. I understand the need for patience, but I get more and more nervous with these kind of things as time drags on. The right decision has screwed this up too many times recently. We don't need another bad call at head coach. I guess the next favorite is Pete Carroll. We'll see. On the field last weekend, it was very disappointing. The only 2 teams that I thought could stop the Queefs were Detroit and Baltimore. Now both are out of contention, and now I'm relying on Buffalo to stop the disease bag of shit getting to the Super Bowl again, and I don't see the Bills having enough to do the job. Even if even if they have the game of the ages and everything slots into place for them, they'll have to contend with the worst collection of officials I can remember.
That's a damn truth.
Yeah. Add to that, the NFL doesn't seem to care about that the game was dragged through the mud with the corruption that is happening in front of our very eyes every week. The refs aren't even hiding to what they're doing anymore, and it's just blatant garbage. Kermit has got wise to it, of course, and has perfected the art of throwing himself on the ground with the slightest touch to make things look even worse. The man is an embarrassment, and I use the word man loosely.
Ooh, jeez.
I've always loved watching the Super Bowl, and it's a shame that I've only been able to watch one of the last 5 because the Queefs have been involved. So whether it's the Bills, Commanders, or Eagles, and go find somebody on your roster that's expendable and assign him one job. Twist Kermit's knees in opposite directions. It'll be worth the ejection. And I know some of you don't like to see players injured on purpose, but I'm cut from a different cloth and I've no shame. So go for the knees, boys. Go for the knees.
Man.
And finally. On last week's show, you mentioned a Raiders all-time top 10 list, so I've listed mine and would like to apologize for those that I've left off. It was very difficult. I'm going to go for 10 to 1.
Yeah.
10, Todd Christensen.
Love
9, Ken Stabler. 8, Willie Brown. 7, Cliff Branch. 6, Gene Upshaw. 5, Charles Woodson. 4, Timmy Brown. 3, Marcus Allen. 2, Howie Long. And any guesses to what Paul would have as the number 1? That is Lester
frickin' Hayes.
So in relation to your question last week, I take off Jim Otto, Art Shell, and Ted Hendricks and replace them with Judge, Cliff Branch, and Todd Christensen.
Okay.
Stay safe, RFR family, and go Bills. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, the Royal Scribe, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi, Pauly Award winner 2019 and 2022, Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020, Made Man of the Year 2024, BRT Sizzler Scorekeeper, Proud Made Man, five-time times 4 plus 4 winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler Award.
Attaboy, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Paul. Paul. Paul.
Paul, your name Paul?
Hello?
Paul.
Hello?
Paul.
I met him with Paul.
Who?
Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul.
Hi.
I'm Paul.
I'm going to run through this real quick, but Paul brings up something crazy that I found this week.
Okay.
In their pursuit of being the first team to ever win 3 straight NFL championships, Kansas City Chiefs have played 11 playoff games since 2021. In those 11 games, how many times, Swag Jeff, had the Chiefs had more penalties than their opponents?
Ooh, tell me.
0.
Wow.
In those 11 games, how many times have the Chiefs' opponents had more penalties than the Chiefs?
0.
10.
Oh.
They were tied once. It's correct because Warren Sharp is where I got this. Triple checked it, even though he thought it was initially incorrect. 10 games which opponents had more penalties, 0 games in which the Chiefs had more penalties. He was curious to how the Chiefs fared in these metrics in the regular season. They are avoiding penalties and also drawing them on opponents because they are simply a sound, well-coached team. We should see evidence of this in the regular season. This is what Chiefs fans like to throw out there. They're like, well, look at how penalized we are. We're just as penalized as everybody else is. Yeah, out of 68 regular season games during this sample, which is since 2021, in 27 games, the Chiefs had less penalty yardage. In 38 games, the Chiefs had more penalty yardage. But then you get to the playoffs, Swag Jeff.
Okay.
And in the playoffs, out of 11 games, in 10 of the games, the Chiefs had less penalty yardage, which means one game, the Chiefs had more penalty yardage. In the regular season, 36 games, the Chiefs had fewer penalties than their opponent. 25 games, the Chiefs had more penalties than their opponent. But then in the playoffs, how many games did the Chiefs have fewer penalties than their opponent?
Every one of them.
0. The Chiefs have gone 10-1.
I'm not understanding these questions, apparently.
The Chiefs have had fewer penalties.
Oh, fewer penalties. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Chiefs have gone 10-1 in those 11 playoff games with 2 Super Bowl wins and potentially a third on the way. In total, the Chiefs had 36 penalties in 11 games. Their opponents have 66. That's 30 more penalties and nearly 225 more penalty yards against Chiefs opponents as compared to what they've been flagged for. Some of the largest, most significant penalties have gone in favor of the Chiefs. Many of those are judgment calls rather than cut and dry like delay a game, offsides, and so on. Some of these include 3 defensive pass interference or defensive holding calls, 11 defensive pass interference or defensive holding calls on their opponents, 3 against the Chiefs. 1 roughing the passer call on the Chiefs. 7 roughing the passer calls on their opponents. 1 unnecessary roughness on the Chiefs. 4 unnecessary roughness on the opponents. 0 sports-like on the Chiefs. 1 on their opponents. When you look at the freaking expected points added, the Chiefs add 18.84 as a result of penalties in these 11 games. 8 of those 11 games were decided by 1 score or less. Look at all the teams with at least 5 playoff games during this span, and the net games where penalty yardage was in their favor. The Chiefs, in their favor, 10-1 with a +9 net. The next closest is the Ravens, 3-2 with a +1. Then you get the Rams a +1, Eagles a +1, Niners a -1, Bills a -2, Bucks a -2, Bengals a -5. What is the whole point of me rattling off all of that information to you guys is that anybody that apologizes for the Chiefs and tries to defend them by the amount of penalties they get called on them, there are 2 things that are not taken into account. 1 is that what those penalties are in the playoffs, and 2, when do those penalties happen?
Right.
And they're all subjective. It's bullshit. The Chiefs damn have the favor. And I'm not saying they need to apologize for it. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I'm saying own that shit. I'm owning it. We get favoritism. Deal with it. But that's not what they do. They try to be all coy and be like, oh, no,
we don't.
We're just the same as everybody else. No, you're not. Fuck off.
There you go. Give yourself a round of applause for that, pal. Well said.
Full of F-bombs tonight.
Well, yeah.
We're just taking, you know what? Like, we're going to talk the way we talk.
Well, yeah.
From now on. Like,
I haven't said one all show.
Do one.
No.
Do it.
I don't want to.
Do something
Do a
dirty.
swear. Ooh. Ew.
I don't mean that. Gross. Save that shit for when you get home. Is Chris still in the chat?
Well, yeah. Well, no, you said it.
No,
do something dirty. Hey.
Gross.
Tell me about your life.
Next up, let's get to Martin. Get his voicemail.
Goff, some pressure again, lets it fly high. It's intercepted, picked off by Morton. Morton with some blocks inside the 20, still going. Morton, pick 6.
Hello?
Was that it?
I don't know. I don't know why you said that. Yeah, that was it.
Martin. Well, you know, we got an email from Martin.
All right, read it.
All right, well, hold on.
I don't know what that was there.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Evening all from the land that drives on the correct side of the road and considers beans on toast a decent meal. So, Brian Johnson wasn't swayed by Tom Brady. I think that must be his brother.
Yeah.
And from what I gather, was a sizable offer to join the Raiders. He probably looked at our quarterback room and saw Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, Desmond Ridder, and Carter Bradley in our number 6 pick and thought, nah, I'll go with last year's number 1 pick. And who could blame him? Let's not forget.
I'd have gone with Carter Bradley, CB14 forever.
Well, yeah, Bradley season. But let's not forget, he's not been a head coach in the NFL before, compared to, say, Pete Carroll, whose career has been characterized by success at the highest level. I just hope Mark still thinks winning those last 2 games is worth it, because I don't. It's sad but true, but for many, having a decent quarterback is key and nothing else matters. But now it's time to turn the page.
Oh, he's going Metallica.
Oh, he's going Metallica.
Hell
okay.
Yeah.
But now it's time to turn the page on Johnson. And if I were Mark, I'd focus all within my hands.
Nice.
Johnson isn't the one saving us from this creeping death. Maybe Pete Carroll is, even age 73. He's not too far gone. Even if he's just with us for one term, he could be the hero of the day.
Nice.
And stop us being hardwired to continue the struggle within. We're broken, beat, and scarred now, and the memory remains of times we could say we're better than you, and we should use that to fuel to end up to going to hell and back. Go Raiders. That is Martin.
Oh, nicely done.
Well, yeah.
Oh, man, I wish I would have known he was going to do a whole Metallica thing, because I'd have had this playing while you were reading that email.
I know, right?
Yeah. All right, who we got next here? Let's see. All right. Oh, I'm going to bring up the voicemails. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Hey, let me shout out the chat. Ron the Raider, Stacy Ruff, Jordan Ford, Paul, MF0, Frankie Mosqueda, Johnny Jolter, John B, SoCal Sal, Raider Lorian, Full Metal Mexican. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. I haven't seen him in a minute.
Right
Yeah,
on.
good to see him. He said work's been keeping him busy, so he can't jump into the chat. Let's see here. Mosa Raider, Brandon Bailey, Desert Raider, Michelle. Yeah.
Miss you
Yoshi.
tonight, Michelle.
Well, yeah, for sure. All right, that's all I got.
All right, here we go. Let's get to, let's see, this is Jacob. Jacob in Fresno.
Hi, nice.
Oh, fam. No, it's Jacob from Fresno. Sorry about that. But what is up? RFR family.
That's awesome.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the NFL insiders just really set us up for one of the biggest heartbreaks we've had in a few off seasons, and it just seems like they're always trying to get at Raider Nation, doesn't it? Doesn't it seem like the whole Ben Johnson wants to be a Raider thing was all made up? Doesn't it seem like they just wanted to get you hopeful so that they can set you up for the dagger in the heart? That's what it feels like. I mean, every year. Well, I think we had AP Antonio Brown. Remember that whole thing? Remember John Gruden was finally starting to do good, and then the emails that whoever knew about him for years, and then as soon as we start to do good, it happens, right? He gets to a point where there's no salvageable way that relationship could go on, right? And with Derek Carr, and I mean every single situation we've had since I've been a fan. DeMarcus Rocco, the first overall pick. Come on, can we get something? I'm serious. There's nothing worth being hopeful for at this point. And we're I'm messing it up again. A lighter side, journey into the dark side, right? I don't see it, guys. I just do not. AP, which was a guy who I was kind of hopeful for. Maybe you could get a turnaround. For what? We had Mike Vrabel as a possibility. He's gone. And now what? With 73-year-old Pete Carroll, right? What do we really have to be hopeful for, guys? I just don't see it. Unless we make some big swing,
He's down bad.
we get a quarterback without giving up much. I just really don't see how the future of the Raiders looks good. I don't see the greatness of the Raiders in its future. And I know I'm positive every single week, but guys, give me some reason why I should be hopeful, because I have no reason to be hopeful. Right now I'm hoping that a 73-year-old guy who might be a coach for 4 years at best before he goes to the old folks' home might be the coach, and I don't see any other brighter pastures. I don't see it. Can you guys please help me? Get me off the ledge this week. I help some of you guys get off the ledge every week. Can we reciprocate? Help me out, Raider Nation. Appreciate you guys, and I love you. God bless you. Go Raiders!
There you go, Jacob.
God bless you, Jacob.
Yeah, for sure.
I love you too, brother. And I'll tell you this, man. Here's what I'm going to do, Swag Jeff. I've turned the calendar on this Raider fandom a handful of times.
Sure.
And seen the friggin' brightest of days and the darkest of nights. And there's been a lot of dark nights when it comes to the Raiders as of late. And I'm not talking the good kind of dark night like on Black Sunday. I'm talking about dim in terms of the future of this football team. This is one of those years, though, thankfully, where the reset button is being hit in the biggest of ways in a level that we've not seen. We are recently transplanted to a brand new city. We are going to have a new coach. We're going to have a new quarterback. We have just hired our new general manager. We are, for the first time, outside of Al Davis passing away and then going back to the 60s when he first bought his way into the Raiders, we have seen a significant change in ownership. while that may only be a 10% ownership by Sir Thomas Brady, it's significant in the position that he holds within the organization already in a limited fashion that he has to be because of his Fox deal. So, Jacob, you're asking for something positive, brother? This is the kind of a reset that we have rarely seen with this football team. And I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that it's going to work and it's going to automatically lead to success, because ultimately that will prove out on its own. But as a Raider fan, I'm going to lock into the idea that there is nothing but greatness in the future. The brightest, the fire that burns bright in the Raider organization. Wait, what? Oh shit! I'm busting that all up now. The fire that burns bright is the willing to win, but the greatness of the Raiders is in its future, right? And so that's what I'm gonna. Gosh, I can't believe I butchered that. That messed up my whole rant there. But anyways, Jacob, you know where I'm coming from, brother. Like I am firmly entrenched in this idea that it can't get any worse from where we're at, and that should the adults remain in the room, and it starts with John Spytek, that this is a responsible, very well thought out strategic hire for this organization. Should they follow through with that mindset and make more of these, it can't not lead to a certain level of success. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. No, I think that this is a hard reset that we haven't seen in quite some time, and one that we've needed for a really long time, I think. You know, I
probably
mean,
longer than we've realized.
So, you know, I mean, so like you said, from the top down, from owners to coach, new faces everywhere. And I think that this is something that's needed to happen for quite some time. And so, like you said, can't get much worse. What can it get? 4 games worse? We only won 4 of those sons of bitches this past year. So, you know, and we're still going to have our core guys. We're still going to have Max Crosby running around wreaking havoc, you know, but we're going to have a quarterback that is going to be better than Aiden O'Connell. We're going to have a head coach that was better than Antonio Pierce. We're going to have a general manager now that was better than Tom Telesco. We have an owner right now that may be better than Mark Davis. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
In terms of execution,
execution and player personnel and stuff like that, you know, very possible. So, I mean, like I said, it can't get much worse. So if you're looking for something to hang your hat on and something to, you know, hope for, it's that. I mean, the future is bright because right now we're way down here. We're way down here. So looking up, I mean, it's got to get better. It's got to get better.
That's it. And at the end of the day, I'll say this, man. If it doesn't, then it might not. We all got, and this is not a cope, kids. We all got each other, man. That's what I always default to. RaiderNation.
RaiderNation
has never once let me down. When we say that this is La Familia, we mean that shit. And so the gathering of us Raider fans each and every week, whether it be here at Raiders Fan Radio or gathering at a tailgate or gathering on a message board or, you know, social media or whatever you choose to do to engage with fellow Raider fans, even though they'll piss you off sometimes, and you heard my rants tonight about different Raider, it's RaiderNation is undefeated, man. This family is not going anywhere.
There you go.
And so you can always rest in that. Should the team on the field be letting you down, but I think we got a lot to look forward to. But great stuff there from Jason.
Yeah,
sorry
great
to hear
stuff.
you down, brother. Pick it up, man. We're good.
Yeah, we got this. We'll be all right.
We got this.
We'll be all right.
If Swag Jeff and I were you know in the same room as you, we'd freaking grab your hand and pick you up, dust you off, and be like, all right, come on, bro, let's go.
Yep,
let's go. We got this shit.
Yep, 100%. Michelle's in the chat that says, are we trying to convince Jacob and Fresno or ourselves?
Both.
Yeah,
both.
That felt therapeutic.
Very much so.
It felt therapeutic.
She's not wrong, but I mean, but those are the kind of like, it's so funny because like, not to be all over dramatic about it, those are the kind of internal conversations I have with myself.
Sure.
I'm like, because otherwise, and here's to get too inside baseball here, but like, what would motivate us to do a Raiders show about a team that wins 4 games? Like, if there's no like future, if there's nothing to be excited about, there's nothing to be positive about, I'm not trying to just hop on a microphone for 2 hours and now 9 minutes and just bitch. Like, no, we're going to look for something to be positive about. And so like, that's at this point, now that the reset's been done and the things that were negative are now been jettisoned and are now not part of the conversation and more to come, now we are on the come up. So I'm going to lock into those positive things, and I think about that stuff all week long before we get onto the mics. So I'm with you, Michelle. It's not just for Jacob. That's for us too, but that's, you know.
There you go.
It's for myself. Like it's how I think.
Yep.
You know
100%.
what I mean? I can only be down for so long.
Absolutely.
You know, as Jim Morrison said, you know, I've been down so GD long that it looks like up to me.
There you go. Ron the Materator says the strongest steel is forged in the fires of the hottest of dumpsters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's get some more of these voicemails. Let's get to here you go. Here's our real fam.
Oh, nice.
Fam. Real quick. Sorry about the
Not that Jacob's not fam. I was just saying that like he was doing the impersonation. Yeah.
sound effects in the background. The cars. Got a big motor. So
Thanks for pulling over.
Because of that. It's just easy to call you guys when I'm on my way home from work early in the morning because it's something to do. And don't worry, Murf, I always drive hands free. Safety first. But no, hope y'all being safe. We got this,
Drive hands free. That was.
This winter storm coming through. It might have hit you guys by now. I live in the South and I'm from the desert, so any sort of snow is too much snow for me. But let's get down to it. Ben Johnson is not going to be the coach of the Raiders. He got picked up. He's gone. And he went to the Bears. I don't know why. I don't really care. I just know that he's not here. Now, we have, I don't know. We don't really look. I think, as much as I know, he's older, so I get that. Pete Carroll, he can probably get our defense where we've been wanting it to go. It's just the offense we have to worry about. And I still getting Pete Carroll and then Justin Fields. And getting some, I know I've seen something about taking Milrow in the second or something like that. I say we need another receiver. And just an offense. That receiver and the running back, we need to work on the offensive line. So, got a bunch of free agents coming up, especially on the defense. I hope Mary gets signed, and I hope Hobbs gets signed. I know Hobbs had a kind of a down here, but he's hurt for most of it. Trayvon Mary really came out. Need some linebackers, man. I don't know, I'm saying the same thing. I'm sorry. It's just, like I said, it's downtime. Not much going on. I know the coaching thing was a big thing for everybody. But, now we just got to play a wait-and-see game. And I think maybe if you got Pete Carroll and have someone younger that comes in with him, that he can grow to be maybe the next head coach, I can get on board with that. But, other than that, everyone was excited for him. I started to try to hype myself for it too. And it just fell through, man. And we're used to that. And that's what's up. Fucking Chiefs won again, of course.
I heard that.
Sorry,
caught that one.
I should run out of time. Oh, man, fuck Ben Johnson. You don't want to be here? Get the fuck out.
Nice.
We heard that part. It's too funny. Thank you to our buddy Josh, the 703. Yeah, they're getting a bunch of snow down in Alabama.
Yeah, they are.
Holy cow. Yeah, my
Holy
son,
cow.
my son Tristan is stationed down there in Gulfport. Sent me a picture of like 2 inches of snow on the ground, like at the beach.
No kidding, at the beach,
at
too.
the beach, yeah, it's crazy.
Dang.
Crazy. All right, next up, let's see. We've got caller in a 70. Oh, geez, this is F-bomb laden. All right, let's see. I'll get the button ready because this might be abundant. All right, this is our buddy Jay in St. Louis.
Murf, Flaggo, Michelle. It's Jay from St. Louis. So, I guess the Bears fans, quote unquote, won the war because my timeline was just filled with Bears fans and Raiders fans yelling at each other over who's going to get Ben Johnson. And I don't fucking care who the coach is. I don't fucking care who the quarterback is. I just want wins.
It's like playing a video game.
I called him last week about Pete Carroll. Who cares?
Oh,
My
nice
thing
one.
is, at least these are legitimate searches for coaches. The last
you have not been, like, look, Gruden was not a legitimate head coaching search. He was just going to be given the job. After him, Josh McDaniels was not a legitimate coaching search. He was just going to get the job. After him, Antonio Pierce, not a legitimate coaching search. We have all the candidates that we have are either previous head coaches or coaches with ass loads of experience. And I'm here for it because we haven't had that in a while. And I'm just really excited to see what that process is like. And who cares if we didn't get Ben Johnson? It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. That's one coach. And honestly, Pete Carroll's more proven anyway. I know he's 73 years old, but who cares? Our commander-in-chief is like 87. So who cares? I don't know, man. I hate that and Mo called it out. It's these people that are living and dying with one coaching selection. And if you don't get that one coach, then, Raiders fans can't have anything nice. Oh, it's because we won the 2 meaningless games. No, it's not. If Ben Johnson wanted to be here, he'd be here. He's not. Blame people who use the wrong words to get your hopes up, because there's one beat reporter that said he'd be shocked if Ben Johnson wasn't a Raider.
Yikes.
When the national reports and other people were saying that Ben Johnson was just the Raiders' #1 candidate. And those are two completely different subjects. But I'm ranting at this point. Can't wait for the show. Peace out, guys.
All right, there he is, Dan St. Louis. Yeah, there's been a beat writer or two that got roughed up a little bit this week.
Holy cow, they going through it.
Yikes. I'm not going to call anybody out. That's not our job around here to do that. But I'll just say this, that we have had a realization. We'll just keep it between conversations between you and I.
Sure.
That when it comes to breaking news, we feel that you can rely on Pelissero, Garofalo, Schefter, Rappaport, Glazer, before you can rely on local, because there is a strategy team and their desired media role and trust at a different level. Without saying it, you want to jump in on any of that?
No, I think you said it all, man. Yeah, I mean, those guys, Mike Garofalo, Tom Pelissero, I mean, those are the guys that you can really trust. Other than that, folks can have their sources and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, they like us. They just like us, They might be in the building a little bit more than we are, but they like us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, don't put all your eggs in a basket about Ben Johnson. A couple of those guys got freaking roasted. They got slayed, bro, this week because Ben Johnson got hired by the Bears.
That was rough, dude.
Don't stick your neck out there that far for a thing that you really don't know that much about.
Yeah, they got
and respect to those guys. But they got dinged up bad. Like, maybe leave the breaking news portions of some of that stuff to the guys that we can all rely on.
Report from training camp.
That's what we want to hear.
Report from the freaking press conferences. Like, sum that shit up, wrap it up, put it in an article, that kind of stuff. Speculation, forecasting.
Leave the speculation to us.
Yes, leave it to the fans, and then leave it to the national guys that their careers would be compromised should they release something that doesn't have truth or is rooted from actual sources within the organization.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that, if you supply somebody like Adam Schefter with information that you don't want to be released, and he does, guess what? Adam Schefter stops being Adam Schefter. So I'm just saying there's a delicacy, a different way that it's handled from the national level versus the local folks. And that's not an indictment of any of the local folks. You guys know what went on if you're watching this, and we promise you, and I'm not trying to be coy. I just don't want to call anybody out because we all have our different feelings, and everybody likes to follow their different guys and trust different sources and all that kind of stuff. But I would just say this, though, is that when it comes to those local folks, I enjoy reading things that they have out there after things that happened. If it's before said thing is going to happen, they don't carry any weight. I follow the national guys and pay attention to that stuff. So anyway,
well said.
Enough of that on. All right, next up, we got one more left. This is it.
Oh, nice.
This is it. This is our buddy Steve in San Diego.
Hey, Steve.
Here we go, Steve.
Hey, this is Steve in San Diego.
Hope he doesn't get cut off this time.
Calling again. Hey, yeah, I know I have 3 minutes, but, you don't give me enough time. So anyway, I don't like rushing. Anyway, so, just hearing some things lately. And, the Ben Johnson, hey, listen, we don't know. He's not a proven head coach. He's a great offensive coordinator. And from what I hear, some people were saying might have dodged a bullet coming from the Detroit camp or the Lions camp. So who knows? We don't know. And I would say this, as in Waterboy, Ben Johnson, you're going to lose all your fancy foosball games. Anyway, so I just heard that it sounds like we got Spytek for our
Bobby Boucher. Did they ever catch that gorilla that broke out of the zoo and came and punch you in your eye?
The switch continues.
GM, and I really like that hire. And that was one of the ones I was hoping to get. Now, if we can get Pete Carroll, that would be a good choice. People talk about his age, but you know what? He's more spry than a lot of people. He's more 47 than he is 74. Anyway, he would be fine. And then I heard something about Byron Leff, which would be a good offensive coordinator because he's connected with Brady and Spytek, in Tampa. So there's a lot of, hopefully they got a connection, and this is one of the things from last year again, when the Raiders put up 63 on the Chargers that, previous year, the 9 games, that regime is the one I said, go forward with that because they're working well together. What do you need to fix about 63 points? And most of that offense was offensively in the first half. So don't go as all defense. Anyways, and the offense was 7 points better with, during that 9 games than they were with McDaniels, supposed to be the offensive guru. And they were 7 points better defensively, the 14-point difference. Anyway, so I'm really liking this hire, Spytek. I'm hoping we get Pete Carroll and maybe Byron Levis. I don't know, whoever else. Just get a good offensive coordinator. Maybe we get lucky and Robert Saleh, could actually be the defensive coordinator. He doesn't get a job. Comes as a defensive coordinator. Who knows? I don't know if anything happens by now, by the time I'm saying this, but it sounds like a really good hire. I think this will be good going forward. We'll see what happens, with the other stuff. But, it's, and like I said, Spytek sounds like Skynet. So maybe we'll have the Terminators as our group, as our team. We can make a little nickname, the Terminators. Anyway, so it's great. Spytek was great and instrumental building one of the best offensive lines when Tom Brady got there. And some other things that we need. And we have a deep offensive line. I heard there's a lot of offensive linemen in this draft and running backs, which is what we need. So I'm kind of excited. This is the one guy I really liked, and I was kind of iffy on Ben Johnson just because I wanted Spytek. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get Pete Carroll, an established guy, and then Byron Leftwich and
Oh, no!
Steve!
He was wrapping up to a great point right there. That damn Google voice.
Gotta watch out for that Google voice, man.
It's undefeated.
You only get 3 minutes, Steve. I wish that I don't make the rules, man. That's Google's rules, man. They only give you 3 minutes, but great points there. Great stuff there. And I'm with you. Like, he was wrapping it up into a killer freaking, bow to put on that.
Yep.
But, man, so that takes him out of the Sizzler eligibility, Jeff.
Oh, man.
Oh, bummer, man. That was a good call, Steve. Keep them coming. 2 minutes and 59 seconds, bro.
Use your stopwatch or something. yeah, for sure. Hey, so thanks everyone that emailed, that called, all that stuff. So we had some amazing emails, amazing voicemails tonight. We started the night with Raider Rue, Raider Lorian, James Williams, Martin, and Paul. On the email side, and on the voicemails, we had Jacob in Fresno, Josh in the 703, Jay in St. Louis, Steve in San Diego. 4 incredible voicemails as well. But tonight's Sizzler Award goes to the guy that just sparked a lot of conversation and, gave us a little therapy I think that we needed as well. Tonight's Sizzler Award goes to Jacob in Fresno.
Hey, Jacob. Nice job, buddy.
Sizzler. Oh, you got it. Oh.
I am the Sizzler.
Sizzler.
There you go. You want to sing along?
Sizzler.
We are Metallica.
Oh,
you got that too.
We are here for your
Come on, bro.
Oakland Raiders.
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Spytek. Hey.
Appreciate all of those of you that joined us tonight for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. We're going to wrap it up. We're getting up on 2 hours and 25 minutes, Jeff.
Wow.
Of Raiders Fan Radio, but we cannot thank you, the chat room, enough. I'll leave it to Swag Jeff to shout you guys out, but just want to know from the bottom of my heart, thank you so very, very much for the incredibly kind donations that came through. I know we had some big ones in there tonight. I don't want to miss anybody, so I don't want to name anybody, but you guys know who you are, and 100% of that money is going to go to our nonprofit, which is the One Nation Foundation. So thank you guys so very, very much. Thank you for the incredible interaction tonight, just from what Jeff has had to say. I can't wait to go back and read through your chat comments.
Yeah,
and if you
chat was an all-time tonight.
It was an
a good
all-timer?
one. Yeah,
Nice,
it was a good one.
dude. I can't wait to read that. And if you want to be part of that chat room, you can join us each and every Wednesday night at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, here at youtube.com/RaidersFanRadio, or check us out on any of your favorite audio podcasts. So Swag Jeff, take us on out of here, brother.
Absolutely. So yeah, so much respect to everyone that's in the building tonight. Yoshi, let's see, Arnie Garza in there, Jordan Ford, Paul, Pirate 1975, Raider Rue, Foxy Scorpio, Ron the Mater Raider, Tanner Jack, Tony Collins, Desert Raider, Chuck Raider, Raider Rick, MF0 in there. Let's see here. Michelle in the building.
Michelle.
Yeah. We can't wait to see Michelle next week. Let's see. SP in there. So yeah, we got the whole crew, man. It was an amazing night. We had a ton of people in the chat, a ton of new people. There was even a Chiefs fan in the chat a little while ago.
And were they nice?
They were trolling a little bit, but that's okay.
That's fine. Talk a little shit, but just be nice.
They talked a little shit. They said we got the refs in our pocket.
Okay, fine. That's I love
he
that.
Ain't wrong.
Well, yeah, exactly right. And I don't mind when we have opposing fans in our chat. Just be cool.
Yeah, well, there's no Chiefs fan radio.
No, they suck, except for that Arrowhead addict, but that's only because they're our bosses.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Literally. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
guess
even
so.
talking, like I'm talking shit. Like
Yeah.
Patrick's the head of content at Fansided. Shout out Fansided. Shout
Hey.
out Just Blog Baby. Thanks for having us part of the team.
Absolutely.
But your team sucks.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, thank
F
you
your
guys.
team.
Yeah. Every team except for the Raiders. You know what I'm talking about?
True.
Yeah. So we love you guys. We can't thank you enough for being here for episode 363 of Raiders Fan Radio, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. So on behalf of Murf, on behalf of Michelle, who isn't here, we'll see you next week. We love you guys. Much respect. Don't forget, boys and girls, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland.
Damn right it did.
We love you. Much
Miss
respect.
Oakland.
Well, yeah.
Miss Oakland, dude.
Big time. I was talking to my wife about that last week or something like that. Like, I got to see one game in Oakland. She was like, I want to know what it was like. I'm like, I can't even put it into words.
It's a different world, man.
It's a different world.
And I love Vegas.
Well, yeah.
But it ain't Oakland.
Never will.